the Odyssey app.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. That fragile pause in the fighting in the Middle East broken this morning by missiles. Jordan says it shot down 5 missiles launched from Iran, and CENTCOM says it took out missiles fired by Iran in what was called an attempted surprise attack. Search teams in Japan still looking for survivors after the earthquake that killed at least 13 people. ABC News foreign correspondent Britt Clennett.
Extensive damage to infrastructure. We're talking bridges, shrines collapsing, roads completely buckling, fires breaking out in damaged buildings, and hundreds of thousands of residents were told to evacuate the affected area, with thousands of emergency rescue teams trying to now survey the damage and contain it.
Dr. Anthony Fauci set to face questions today at a Senate hearing on COVID after the health department says it found several years' worth of his journal entries. In one, he seems to question the origin of the pandemic. This is ABC News. Benjamin Netanyahu and Volodymyr Zelensky both attending Senator Lindsey Graham's funeral service on Tuesday. The South Carolinian was a military hawk who supported strong action in both Iran and Ukraine. For only the second time ever, the American Red Cross has declared a nationwide blood crisis.
The situation has become acute. Blood donations have now fallen to a 4-year summer low, while hospital demand has increased. On Tuesday, the Red Cross reported less than 1 day of supply left for type O blood. The organization cited many factors for low donations, including illness and air quality. Only 3% of people in the U.S. donate blood for the rest of the country, so a few more people rolling up their sleeves could make a big difference. The Red Cross is urging all who are eligible in every blood type to make a donation. Dave Packer, ABC News.
For the first time ever, the state of Florida has carried out 2 executions in one day. One of the prisoners was 80, making him the oldest person ever put to death in Florida. I'm Sherry Preston, ABC News.
It is now 6:02, and we've got clear skies. It's 70 degrees right now in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. We're live on YouTube, X, and Facebook if you want to follow along, and KMOX.com. The company born as the St. Louis Bread Company is now moving its headquarters to Massachusetts.
In favor of frozen dough, and starting next month, a 30-drink monthly cap on what used to be the Unlimited Sip Club. Now it also means the end of Panera as a St. Louis-based company. No word on what happens to the St. Louis Bread Company banner in the city and the county. Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
St. Louis City is receiving additional funding from FEMA.
The funding is nearly $3 million and will go towards keeping the case managers who are assisting tornado victims employed. Mayor Kara Spencer says those employees were previously paid for by the city, and those funds were running dry.
The funding that we had allocated here locally was really set to sunset here or run out in August, and so this allows us to keep that work going.
However, how far will it help speed up the case manager workload? Numbers provided by a spokesperson for the city show around 1,000 individuals still in the system, with only around 10 case managers handling them. Spencer cannot say if these funds will allow them to hire more case managers. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
Also in the news this morning, St. Louis County voters are less than a week away from deciding on whether to establish a 3.5% online sales tax. Whether the tax passes or fails could have a significant impact on the county budget, according to Chris Gron-Howard, the county council's budget policy coordinator.
If you don't have a use tax, then you're going to have to make serious cuts, and the people will then maybe figure out what it is they're willing to live without or what they're willing to pay for.
The county projects their share of the online sales tax revenue would amount to $70 million annually if passed.
St. Louis County's long-stalled headquarters decision got a public push yesterday from an employee on his way out the door. Kevin Hutchinson, a facilities design and construction project manager retiring after 3 years with the county, told the county council it's time to stop stalling.
It's time to stand up and choose between the 3 viable options before the council: building purchase, a lease purchase, or signing of a new lease.
Hutchinson says the process has been stalled by a lack of money and by mistrust on both sides, and suggested tapping the county's Rams settlement fund to help cover the costs. Chair Rita Days broke decorum to credit his working relationship with the council.
This is a surprise to me, Hutch. We've worked together on a number of issues, and so I'm sad to see you go.
The clock is ticking for St. Louis County to either retrofit its headquarters building to fit modern fire code to the tune of $100 million or move to a new home.
The Jefferson County Health Department reports mosquitoes collected from trap sites in Arnold and DeSoto this month have tested positive for West Nile virus.
Jeffco officials have implemented control measures in the affected area of DeSoto, but it has no jurisdiction to do so in Arnold. The department has not reported any human cases of West Nile virus linked to the findings, but it's reminding residents to reduce the risk of exposure by staying indoors during peak hours, eliminating any standing water around your house, and keeping doors and windows shut in the evening. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
14th and Market outside Stiefel Theater is closed this morning following a deadly crash. City police say a motorcyclist is dead after the driver crashed into a Metro bus sometime around 4:30 a.m. That's according to Fox 2. They don't believe anyone on the bus was hurt at the time.
Police are still looking for the suspects in last night's ambush on officers. St. Louis police say city officers and federal agents were conducting a traffic stop yesterday around 9 last night near Thekla and Riverview. Another vehicle arrived on the scene during that stop and opened fire on officers.
Police pursued the vehicle, a gray Ford Fusion without license plates, to the 1500 block of Sells Avenue where the suspects got away. If you have any information, you are asked to call police or Crime Stoppers. If you live in the area, police are asking that you submit any relevant surveillance footage to tips@slmpd.org.
A major blow-up in O'Fallon as the extreme heat caused a section of Highway K to buckle. MoDOT crews did temporary repairs yesterday, but will be making the full repair today. Between 8 and 3, expect the left lane and left turn lane on Highway K to be closed.
What is a blow-up? MoDOT's Bob Becker says blow-ups happen when there are multiple days of 90 degrees or higher, causing the pavement to expand and any moisture underneath causing that pavement to buckle. If you see a blow-up, you can call it in to 888-ASK-MoDOT.
For years, it was an eyesore of crumbling homes at Kings Highway in Oakland, just south of Barnes. The houses were torn down, but several projects planned for the site have fallen through. Now the city is trying to attract a developer to the vacant lot by declaring the land blighted. The city's Land Clearance for Redevelopment Authority also authorized a blighting study and plan and advertising the properties. According to the Business Journal, the plan must get approval from the Board of Aldermen.
We'll check traffic next at 6:08.
There's a saying, it takes a group of good men to build a barn, and only one to tear it down. Well, a few Jeff City politicians are at it again, tearing things down, with Amendment 5 and Amendment 4. No on 5 and 4. 5 takes our money, with higher sales taxes, higher taxes on gas, guns, and groceries, a sales tax hike on rent and diesel, seed and feed. 4 takes away our constitutional right to vote and go around the establishment politicians and to stop higher taxes. Takes away our safety valve, a vote of the people to stop or reverse a dumb idea like the everything tax. I'm a no. A heck no. No. No on Amendment 5. No on Amendment 4. No on both 4 and 5. Paid for by no on the everything tax.
This year, America celebrates 250 years. 2.5 centuries of courage, sacrifice, and family stories passed down from one generation to the next. Hi, I'm Nick Mako.
And I'm Adam Baselogger, founders of Legacy Box. Your family's piece of the American story is sitting in an attic or closet right now, trapped on aging VHS tapes, camcorder tapes, film reels, and fading photos.
Those boxes hold moments you can never recreate. Your wedding day, your children's voices when they were little, grandparents coming back to life on screen.
Over 2 million families have trusted Legacy Box. And we've just partnered with the USO to digitize fragile handwritten letters from World War II, helping preserve American history for future generations.
As America turns 250, remember that your family is a part of the American story. Preserving those voices, faces, and moments is a part of your responsibility to the next generation. Don't let them disappear on your watch.
Visit legacybox.com/radio for our amazing America 250 sale. That's legacybox.com/radio to save.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
SNL Coin. We buy gold and silver coins, silver and gold jewelry. Also buying gold-filled and silver plates. Before you sell, call SNL. 314-544-3600. 314-544-3600. SNL Coin.
It's now 6:10. Thanks for tuning in to Total Information AM for this Wednesday morning. Feels a lot nicer out there right now than it did at this time yesterday or the day before. So if you need to walk the dog or do something, it'll be refreshing. That's a good word for today. It is going to get hot, though. Details on that coming up. But first, let's check in with Roger Brand. He is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, stay out of the left lane or lanes if you're coming north on 270 right now, folks. We've got two different crashes. I mentioned them at the top of the hour briefly. We got the first one near the railroad overpass before you get to Big Bend. It's in the left, it looks like the left two lanes there from my vantage point. And then the left lane still blocked by the original multi-vehicle crash, North 270 just north of Doherty Ferry, about midway up to Manchester. So the end result is North 270 jams at 44 up past those crash scenes. Again, they're both in the left lane or lane, so just stay over to the right-hand side. You may get through it a little more quickly. Still have a little bit of a backup northbound. Tesson Ferry north of Butler Hill up to Schuessler yesterday afternoon. Southbound was backed up from there to 270, so it could be signal problems causing the delays for you there. Next update at 6:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
KMOX AccuWeather, hazy sunshine and very warm today, but it will turn less humid. The high 88, mainly clear tonight, though 67. Sunshine mixing with clouds tomorrow, high 87. For Friday, becoming mostly cloudy, breezy and more humid. Look for a couple of showers and a thunderstorm, especially in the afternoon. Friday's high 84. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
We do have some clouds in Florissant, 70 there, 71 in St. Peters, and a few overhead. It's 69 degrees downtown at the Arch.
It is 6:12 and one person is dead, another injured after a two-vehicle crash on I-44. This happened around the 7th Street off-ramp last night around 9:20. The victim has not yet been identified.
A large crowd gathered at an area hospital as a House Springs mother and daughter who were shot by their neighbor were taken off life support Monday. People lined the hospital hallways to pay their respects to 38-year-old Jessica Lashley and 17-year-old Jersey Greer.
The Jefferson County Sheriff's Office now charging 73-year-old Robert Winkleman with their murder. As Fox 2 reports, Winkleman was angry about noise and walked across the street to confront the women before shooting them. When police arrived, he shot himself. He remains in critical condition.
The Union Pacific rails are humming again in the Eureka area following Sunday's coal train derailments.
Eureka Fire Chief Scott Barthelmess says the railroad contractors repaired the tracks. One of the rail cars did hit a pier to the Lewis Road Bridge, and St. Louis County Highway Department still has that bridge closed.
At this point, we as a fire service provider, we have a backup way to get back to the one home and the golf course that's back there. But I know the golf course right now is inaccessible to the general public.
The Crescent Golf Course is right by that Lewis Road Bridge. As to damage, that's still being assessed. Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
The fate of the Lewis Road Bridge is not known. St. Louis County Highway Department and Public Works spokesman Dave Roan tells KMOX there is no subdivision by the Crescent Golf Course.
So it's basically golfers who would be using that bridge. It's not a bridge that your regular motorist would be taking unless he's going to golf or she's going to golf.
Roan adds the concrete bridge is about 100 years old, so the Highway Department is mulling over whether to close it permanently.
The large dirt mound in Soulard should be gone by the start of August.
At least that's according to the owner of the property at 2221 South 7th Street in Soulard, which the mound sits on. Last week, two city officials told me they had reason to believe the owner of the property, JLN Soulard Properties, authorized a small amount of dirt to be dumped months ago, but then it got out of hand. A spokesperson for the owner now says he did not authorize the dumping and wasn't aware of the pileup until the city got involved. The owner says he then, quote, immediately initiated the removal process. But both parties agree on one thing, that the dirt will be gone soon. Last week, city officials said the owner was cooperating with their cleanup requests, and in the statement, the owner says the mound will, quote, be fully cleared within the next 10 days. If you drive by the site today, you'll see an excavator tearing apart the mound and dump trucks taking loads of dirt from the property. Jade Aubrey, KMOX News.
Not a great night at the ballpark if you're a Cardinals fan. Cubs fans had a blast. Cardinals have struggled out of the gate against the Cubs with 2 more games to go. Let's get the latest from KMOX's Matt Pauley.
The Cardinals are going through it. With their 10-2 loss to the Cubs, they've lost 9 of 12 since the All-Star break and are below 500 for the first time this season. The loss is largely a result of the normally consistent starting pitcher, Michael McGreevy, allowing 7 runs while recording just 5 outs, in addition to the team scoring just 2 runs. Manager Oliver Marmol says it's frustrating that multiple areas of the team letting down on any given night has led to the recent downturn.
We've seen our pen give it up, not having the leverage lefty and JoJo is part of that, which it's just part of baseball. Guys end up getting hurt, unfortunately, as was the appendix. And it allows other people opportunity, but it's youth will at times rear its head, and you'll have games like we did on the road. This is one that we haven't seen with our starting pitching as far as McGreevy. So it's popped up in different areas, but it's not one thing that you can point to. The disappointing thing is that it's happened in different areas all bunched together in a matter of a couple weeks.
The Cardinals have scored 3 runs or less in 8 of their last 11 games. At Busch Stadium, Matt Pauley, KMOX Sports.
Trade deadline 5 days away as we'll have coverage wall-to-wall on Monday, August 3rd. To soccer.
St. Louis City SC has won 3 straight and climbed above the playoff line, right now at the number 7 spot in the Western Conference. But starting goalkeeper and captain Roman Berkey isn't ready to call the recent run a success just yet.
Just because we haven't lost in a few games, I wouldn't say this is a success. I think we are in a good way, but we know exactly how fast it can go back again.
Berkey says the team cannot afford to become comfortable even after collecting all 9 points since the World Cup break.
We are well aware that we don't have the team that is capable of sitting back and just somehow winning the games. We have to invest all we have. We have to prepare the best we can to win games in this league.
City gets a full week to prepare after playing 3 matches in 10 days. They host Real Salt Lake on Saturday at Energizer Park. Pre-game coverage begins at 7 on Y98 before a 7:30 kickoff. Jen Cease, KMOX Sports.
I don't know if you've noticed, college football, there's been a little back and forth between the SEC and the Big Ten recently, taking some swipes at each other about their superiority. The Big Ten's won the last 3 national championships, and the SEC hasn't appeared in any of those games. Here's Illinois coach Brett Bielema.
I spent a couple of years in the SEC, was with Slive, and then transitioned to Sankey. And I just think about it now, everybody's going to have, opinions, and obviously they're going to draw the Big Ten, SEC, and all that goes around about that. But to sit in the room with both of those guys, I think with Tony and the vision and experience that he has, and to be in the room where Sankey, I know he's got to protect the SEC, and they kind of want to live in 2005 forever. But I think the forward thinking of where we are in college football is an awesome thing. So,
Stuart Mann. There is Brett Bielema. More on that address coming up in a half hour. I'm Tom Ackerman on the home of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM. KMOX.
Bill, you're an old politician.
Yup, sure am.
So you know the old-timers warned that someone trying to sell you a pig in a poke was a con man.
Well, sure.
Well, no offense, Tom, but your Politicians Amendment 5 is a pig in a poke, compelling politicians to raise our taxes without a vote of the people. And the Politicians Amendment 4 takes away our power to do anything about it. Well, let's look at what's really inside Forward 5.
Oh, don't do that.
5 hits hardest seniors and those struggling financially with new taxes on services like doctor visits, in-home care, and rent. Sales taxes could more than triple. For up to 80% of Missourians, it's a tax hike. And Amendment 4 ends majority rule, effectively ending our power to stop corrupt and out-of-control politicians.
Slick plan, huh?
No, Tom. 4 and 5 are schemes that hurt citizens and transfer our power and our money to politicians and lobbyists. That's why I'm voting no on the Politicians Amendments 4 and 5. Paid for by Missourians for fair government.
I always chuckle at the YouTube comments because we hit these algorithms and people discover us for the first time. People are like, hello, hi. Somebody said, WTH is this? And someone else said, OMG, it's the radio which does all the voices. Okay. Yes, this is called Talk Radio.
That's Tom Radio, and I'm Debbie Radio.
That's right. I'm going to tell you about trees for all of you on YouTube. If you look outside and you see, and you're in the St. Louis area, you have some trees that need to be taken care of, although with those comments that I heard, these are not people from the St. Louis area. But If you are, Gamma Tree Experts is going to take great care of you. You all know that here in St. Louis. Gamma Tree Experts, when it comes to tree care, they're the name in tree care. There is no question that when it comes to tree care, since 1954, Tim Gamma and Tom Gamma have carried on what their father Frank started back then. Excellence, family-run business, fully insured, horticulturists, urban foresters. They are the experts when it comes to trees and shrub care. This is Gamma Tree Experts. They're located all throughout the St. Louis area. You see their trucks. They're right here in St. Louis, and they will take great care of your home or business. Gamma Tree Experts. Your trees deserve the best care.
Total Information AM. Debbie Monterey, Megan Lynch, Tom Ackerman on 104.1 FM KMOX.
6:20, time on Total Information AM for traffic and weather. Roger Brand is keeping his eye on things from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, North 270 is still our trouble spot, Debbie, but it's getting a little bit better. This traffic reports a service of Steve Butts and the entire Crawford Butts family. They cleared the crash. I just heard him go back in service. They're the one we had at the railroad overpass before Big Bend, but they still have the one in the left lane, North 270, north of Doherty Ferry. So the end result is we still have a jam approaching 44, bumper to bumper, up about midway between Doherty Ferry and Manchester currently on northbound 270. So the jam's getting a little bit worse, but not too much. Hopefully they'll be able to clear that second crash, which was the initial one, shortly. Northbound Tesson Ferry still seeing a backup Butler Hill up through Schuessler. Yesterday afternoon it was backed up southbound coming off the 270 ramp, so that leads me to believe there could be signal problems there. Other than that, the rest of the interstates look great. We had a car reported off the roadway westbound 64 near 25th Street, but no delays there. There are restrictions downtown for several blocks around 14th and Market. They're investigating a fatal motorcycle crash there. As America celebrates its 250th anniversary, Steve Butts and everyone at Crawford Butts Insurance wish everyone a safe and joyful summer. Proudly serving the community for generations. Happy 250th, America. Next update at 6:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
AccuWeather's Joe Lundberg says we're looking at a nice day today, actually. The humidity finally is out of here for now. Low humidity, high of 88 degrees with hazy sunshine. Clear tonight, low 67. Tomorrow, sunshine mixing with clouds, high 87. We'll get more humid on Friday with a chance for showers and thunderstorms, especially in the afternoon, high of 84. Saturday, mostly cloudy and humid, couple of showers and a thunderstorm, a high of only 76 for Saturday. Currently, we have 70 in Florissant, 71 in St. Peter's, 69 downtown at the Arch.
The news continues at 6:22. Some Illinois students will now be banned from using their phones during school. Illinois Governor Pritzker signing that bill into law, which will take effect at the start of the 2027-28 school year. Pritzker says teachers and students alike struggle with the distraction of cell phones in classrooms.
Everywhere in Illinois, from Chicago to Carbondale, from Rockford to East St. Louis, I've heard the same things about this. Students are distracted. Parents have been concerned and have seen cyberbullying and, of course, the mental health impact that social media and phone usage are having on our kids. Students share that concern.
The ban will be in place for K through 8th graders through the entire day, including lunch.
Governor J.B. Pritzker also signed a bill last week that officially recognizes gambling as an addiction in Illinois. Here's Carolina Garibay.
The state now treats gambling addiction the same way it does alcohol and drug use disorders, updating the state's existing Substance Use Disorder Act. While the bill did not allocate any new funding for treatment, supporters say it makes it easier for the state to provide resources for those struggling with gambling addiction. Now the state can offer programs and support to compulsive gamblers and affected families. The state can also now provide additional training to addiction counselors and expand options for prevention services.
President Trump went to a General Motors facility in Michigan this week to defend his aggressive tariffs. Detroit automotive expert Jeff Gilbert tells KMOX those tariffs did cost automakers billions.
But on the other end of things, the Trump administration has saved the car makers billions of dollars by changing some of the fines for emissions violations and changing emissions rules, period.
Auto sales are still strong, although Gilbert says many people have been forced into the used car market because average car payments for the new vehicles are hovering close to $800 per month.
What will the Fed do with interest rates tomorrow? Dave Simons of One Private Wealth tells Chris and Amy there's rampant speculation, but no one is sure because Kevin Warsh, the new Fed chair, is silent about it.
May go down as one of the most influential Fed chairmen in history. Not necessarily because he's going to be great and successful. He could be a complete disaster. I have no idea. I say that because he's already reshaping the Fed in a way that we've never seen in its long history.
The usual summer slump in blood donations has hit a new concerning low, prompting the American Red Cross to declare a national blood crisis.
This is only the second time the American Red Cross has declared a national blood crisis. Extreme heat, poor air quality, and widespread foodborne illnesses are believed to be the major factors in this current low donor turnout. Ann Vastmans is regional communications manager for the American Red Cross.
We obviously always need type O. It's our universal donor. It is what is used in trauma when there's no time to type the patient to see what specific blood type they need. And so type O is definitely needed. We do also really need platelets.
Vastman says besides type O, A and B negative blood is also needed. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
As Missouri students prepare to return to the classroom, health experts are watching a gradual decline in kindergarten vaccination rates. MU Healthcare pediatric infectious diseases physician Dr. Amruta Padye says vaccination coverage for the measles, mumps, and rubella vaccine has fallen since the 2021 school year.
If you look at the MMR vaccination rate, it has come down last year to 90%. So for diseases like measles, where you do need a substantial herd immunity, having low community immunity for these diseases allows them to spread.
Padye tells MissouriNet the vaccination rate needed to help prevent measles outbreaks is generally considered to be 95%.
A survey released this week reveals that 1 in 5 parents or guardians need their kids to help cover back-to-school costs. Adriana Ocañas is a consumer credit cards analyst at U.S. News & World Report and tells Total Information AM the cost of the basics hasn't changed, but spending habits have.
It's more so parents are reducing their spending on specific categories, like 47% are spending less on clothing and shoes, 45% are spending less on accessories, and 44% are spending less on electronics and technology.
It's 6:27. Time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/term. That's ethos.com/term. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Are you tired of high cable TV rates? Sign up for Dish today and get a $500 bonus offer while supplies last. Plus, lock in your price for 2 years guaranteed. Call All American Dish, your Dish authorized retailer now.
800-296-1251. 800-296-1251. That's 800-296-1251. Offers require credit qualification, 24-month commitment, early termination fee, and e-auto pay. Restrictions apply. Call for details.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
Liberty Mutual customizes your car and home insurance. And now we're customizing this ad for your morning commute to wake you up, which could help your driving. Science says that stimulating the brain increases alertness. So here's a pop quiz. How many months have 28 days? What gets wetter as it dries? What has keys but can't open locks? If you don't want to hear the answers, turn off this Liberty Mutual ad now. 12 months, a towel, piano. Enjoy being fully alert.
Liberty, 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 liberty. Tired of your phone bill constantly going up? Stop the madness with Boost Mobile. Get unlimited talk, text, and data for just $25 a month. No contracts, no catches. And that $25 price is locked in forever. Switch to Boost Mobile today.
It is 6:30 and it's 69 degrees right now in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. Let's see what's going on in Roger Brand's world, overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, the northbound 270 has been the busiest spot this morning, Tom. If you're headed that way, we had a couple of crashes. We had the one north 270 that was just south of Big Bend at the railroad overpass there, and then the one that's still with us on north 270. Maybe there's three different crashes because one's been on the right shoulder up the hill toward Manchester, but the initial one, the main one, still in the left lane just north of Doherty Ferry. So the end result is northbound 270 is backed up as you come up from Gravois headed for 44. It's slow north of Gravois, and it jams just north of 44 right now. Northbound at Tesson Ferry, that's getting a little worse. Slow down south of Butler Hill, but it's jammed Butler Hill up to Schuessler. I could be signal problems because we had a big backup there yesterday going southbound during the peak time of morning rush. Out west, we look okay. Southbound 61, eastbound 64, eastbound 70. And on the Illinois side, things are still on the go on 55, 70, and 64, either direction. Still look for restrictions downtown for a couple of blocks around 14th and Market out in front of the Stiefel Theater. There are accident reconstruction crews working a fatal motorcycle crash from a little earlier this morning. Next update at 6:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Today is not going to be too bad. Hazy sunshine, less humid with a high of 88. Tomorrow, sunny with a few clouds, a high of 87. It's 69 degrees out there right now.
Police are still looking for the suspects in last night's ambush on officers. The St. Louis Police Department says city officers and federal agents were conducting a traffic stop after 9 p.m. near Thekla Avenue and Riverview Boulevard. Another vehicle arrived on the scene during the stop and opened fire on the officers.
Police pursued that vehicle, a gray Ford Fusion, without license plates to the 1500 block of Sells Avenue where the suspects got away. If you have any information, you're asked to call police or Crime Stoppers. If you live in that area, police are hoping you'll submit any relevant surveillance footage to tips@slmpd.org.
St. Louis is losing another corporate headquarters.
Panera Bread, which Ken Rosenthal founded as a single St. Louis bread company location in Kirkwood in 1987, confirms to KMOX it is moving its headquarters to the Boston area in July 2027. Many St. Louis area support jobs will relocate from the current headquarters in Fenton, though a smaller local office will remain. Questions include whether city and county restaurants will still carry the Breadco banner. The relocation caps a turbulent stretch for the company, which has traded fresh baked bread for frozen dough, capped its famously unlimited sip club, and watched its sales fall from first to third in fast casual, all while promising a turnaround it's calling Panera Rise. And now the latest step in that turnaround, a headquarters move out of its founding city to a place with higher costs of doing business and higher taxes, but where its CEO has spent most of his life. Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
It is 6:33. We've got your Money Minute on the way, traffic and weather as well. Stay with us here on the Voice of St. Louis. The news is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
6:34, Total Information AM continues. We are less than 5 minutes away from your next check of traffic and weather, but first, let's get you your money report, sponsored by Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano Elder Law Attorneys.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute.
More than 1,100 staffers across top artificial intelligence firms have signed a petition that calls on the U.S. government to help deliberately pace AI development to prevent the technology from advancing too fast. This comes just days after OpenAI disclosed that its tools had mistakenly hacked another firm's internal systems. Speaking of AI, Wall Street is getting ready for earnings from two of the world's biggest spenders on the technology, Meta and Microsoft. Plus, the Federal Reserve wraps up its two-day meeting this afternoon. The central bank is expected to hold rates steady. S&P futures are rising 15 points. Dow futures are little changed. And your morning cup of coffee could help you pay for your next getaway. Delta and Starbucks are bringing back a popular loyalty perk. Starting August 5th, customers who link their Delta Sky Miles and Starbucks Rewards accounts can earn 1 airline mile for every $1 spent at participating Starbucks locations. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
When Donald Trump needs conservative votes to help pass his agenda for Missouri, Representative Trisha Burns never answers the call. Trisha Burns has missed 370 votes. Burns is bucking President Trump's priorities. Burns did not vote to stop DEI initiatives, prevent China from owning Missouri land, defund Planned Parenthood, and Burns did not vote to ban boys from girls' sports. Trisha Burns not showing up for Missouri and President Trump. Instead, Trisha Burns spends her time pulling pranks on the suicide prevention hotline. Yes, you heard that right. Trisha Burns lied to the police and staged a fake suicide emergency. She sent a series of messages to the hotline and said she, quote, had a gun to her head, end quote. When she got caught, she said there'd be no consequences because she's a politician. By August 4th, vote to show Trisha Burns that there are consequences to being bad at your job.
Let's Go Brandon PAC paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. Chris Foss, Treasurer.
Hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along. Which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter. I'm Matt Morgan of Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. I've had the privilege of seeing miracles, broken families rebuilt, every crash, every workplace injury, every medical mistake. Fighting back can work. We've gone toe-to-toe with insurance giants, and we've won a lot. Over $30 billion recovered. Size matters. Reputation matters. Results matter. There's only one Morgan & Morgan.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
Men, if you're suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE, you're not alone. Most importantly, you don't have to live with it. Paramount Men's Medical Center restores men's sex lives in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, even when Viagra and Cialis don't work. Here's Dr. Simovitz, specialist in men's health.
Paramount Men's Medical Center's painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. 98% of patients see instant results right in the office.
Men are now lasting longer than they ever imagined. And the best part, at Paramount Men's Medical Center, your consultation and first treatment are free. Qualified patients even get their testosterone checked free. Call 314-720-8444. 314-720-8444. Take control of your sex life. Call now. 314-720-8444.
Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's Best Eggs. They're just so delicious with better nutrition, too. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
Today, the Cards, the Cubs. Ameren Total Access 550. First pitch 6:45. Cardinals Radio. 104.1 FM KMOX.
U.S. forces across the Middle East are on high alert after a surprise attack by Iran, breaking a days-long pause in the fighting. U.S. Central Command says Iran fired multiple ballistic missiles, but says all Iranian missiles were successfully intercepted. Axios reports the target was a U.S. base in Jordan. The question now is, how will the U.S. respond?
A Senate committee today set to question Dr. Anthony Fauci, accusing the former head of the COVID response effort of misleading Americans about the source of the virus and lying to Congress, all of which Fauci denies. He and his lawyers say the accusations are a part of a Republican Senator Rand Paul's personal vendetta against Fauci.
6:40 now. Roger Brand is in the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
270 drivers, Tom and Debbie. This traffic reports the service of the Sandberg Phoenix law firm. They are just clearing this crash we had north of Doherty Ferry, the initial one, over to the right shoulder. So there's a lot of flashing lights. They may be blocking that right-hand lane, but that's the exit lane, one of the exit lanes to Manchester. So the through lanes are all clear now. North 270 north of Doherty Ferry. North 270 pretty busy, though. It slows north of the Sappington Road overpass most of the way to 44, but it jams just before you get to 44, bumper to bumper, all the way up through Doherty Ferry. Eastbound Highway 30, Mauer to 270 slow. Northbound Tesson Ferry, a backup from right around Butler Hill up through Schuessler. Yesterday afternoon, there was a jam southbound. It could be signal problems there. Southbound 61, slow south of Wensfield Parkway down to the eastbound 70 ramp. And on the Illinois side, starting to see a little bit of a slowdown on eastbound 5570 between 203 and 111 in that construction zone. You may still find restrictions downtown for several blocks around 14th and Market, where we had an earlier a fatal motorcycle crash accident. Reconstruction crews on the scene. Next update at 6:50 from the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Sandberg Phoenix serves your business in litigation, intellectual property, and products liability. We're more than a law firm. We're committed to your success. Learn more at sandbergphoenix.com. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertising.
6:41, time to check in with our AccuWeather meteorologist, Joe Lundberg, and I'm sure people can feel the difference stepping out the door this morning.
Yeah, it just feels different. Yesterday morning at this time, Debbie, we were 80 plus across the area on our way to a high of 90 or so. Today, we're starting out much closer to the 70-degree mark, and the humidity is only beginning to go down. I think it will go down steadily throughout the day today. We're expecting a high of about 88 with lots of sunshine, some haze in the atmosphere, too. That's from that northwest wildfire smoke being dispersed through the area. Overnight tonight should be clear, 67 our low. That sun will mix with clouds tomorrow, about 87. Gets a little cloudier Friday and more humid. Look for a couple of showers and a thunderstorm weighted to the afternoon and nighttime hours, the high 84. And probably a couple of showers and maybe a thunderstorm Saturday, the high only 76. Some sun returns Sunday, but still cooler than average, only 81 with a chance of a shower or thunderstorm. 72 at St. Peter's, 71 in Florissant, 73 with clear skies downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Thank you, Joe. It's 6:42, sports in 3 minutes. With Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky overlooking the floor, the Senate overwhelmingly advanced a Russia and Iran sanctions bill named in honor of the late Senator Lindsey Graham. Republican Senator Jim Risch of Idaho voted to support the sanctions.
And it's taken a long period of time to get where we are, but this is the right thing to do at this time, and it's going to get a big vote before it gets out of here, and we're all happy to see that happen.
On Capitol Hill, President Trump's nominee for Director of National Intelligence, Jay Clayton, was confirmed by the Senate last night along party lines. We get the details from ABC's Sophie Flay.
At a hearing this month, Clayton repeatedly refused to say that Joe Biden won the 2020 election, saying only the election was certified.
Who won the 2020 election?
I think I've answered the question. We can keep doing this.
Well, we're going to keep doing it because you're not being honest and forthright.
I'm not going to engage in the theater.
Clayton inherits an intelligence agency that's being downsized. The acting director he's replacing announced yesterday a 30% staff reduction from just weeks ago. Lawmakers are now requesting details about those cuts.
Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche faces a critical test on Thursday when the Senate Judiciary Committee votes whether to advance his nomination to the full Senate.
Senators John Cornyn and Tom Tillis still haven't said if they plan to vote for Blanche, and he needs both their votes to advance his nomination to the full Senate. Both men want to see Blanche put into writing that the Department of Justice's so-called anti-weaponization fund won't move forward. The questions about Blanche's future come as Democrats on the Senate Judiciary Committee are demanding Blanche to explain the controversial decision to issue a series of now withdrawn subpoenas to New York Times reporters. Blanche previously testified that he approved those subpoenas. Peter Haralambous, ABC News.
eBay agreeing to a multi-million-dollar settlement after some of its employees were found to have harassed and stalked a Massachusetts couple.
eBay and some of the company's former executives have agreed to pay out $56 million to Ina and David Steiner. It comes almost 7 years after several eBay employees attempted to track the couple's movements, even sending them threatening packages like a funeral wreath and a box of spiders. It all goes back to critical things the Steiners had written about the company in their self-published newsletter, E-Commerce Bites. In a statement, eBay says the incident was wrong, reprehensible, and should never have happened. Mike Dubusky, ABC News.
Those 7 eBay employees, by the way, had already pleaded guilty to criminal charges, with some serving prison time, although no executives were charged.
Let's take a look at Who's Hot, Who's Not, sponsored by St. Louis Composting, growing gardens and making memories. We'll start with the not. KMOX's Matt Pauley. That would be the Cardinals.
Michael McGreevy makes the 40th start of his major league career as the Cardinals lose to the Cubs 10-2. It's a start like he's never had before, as he records just 5 outs and does not make it out of the second inning, giving up 7 runs. Over his first 39 career starts, he had never thrown less than 4 innings, and he has thrown at least 6 innings in 8 of his previous 9 appearances. While it happens at a bad time for the team, manager Oliver Marmol is not worried about the normally very consistent McGreevy.
He's been pretty good for us over the last couple of years. He's had a very consistent year. This year, his approach, how he prepares, all of it is exactly what you would want. So we have not seen this style of game pop up when he's out there. So you learn from it and you keep moving.
The 7 runs that McGreevy allows tied a career high. At Busch Stadium, Matt Pauley, KMOX Sports.
Now to the hot St. Louis City SC. They're playing very well, and they've added a terrific player, Jen Cease.
St. Louis City SC has added another attacking piece while riding a 3-game winning streak. For a club record $6 million transfer fee, City signed Danish midfielder Carlo Holza as a designated player on a permanent transfer from Turkey's Super League side, Samsunspor. Head coach Juan Demey says Holza fits exactly what City was looking for.
He is the profile that we want on and off the ball, so I'm looking forward to starting to work with him.
And Demey says Holza's versatility could allow him to fill several roles.
I like his flexibility. I think he's got the ability to play in different positions. Played wide as a winger, he can play as a 10 in between the line. He's played as second forward as well. I also think he could play in a double pivot. Gives us like a lot of things to think about, and I'm looking forward to it.
City also recently signed Romanian attacking midfielder Alexandru Matan. The club hosts Real Salt Lake on Saturday. Pre-game coverage begins at 7 on Y98 with kickoff at 7:30. Jen Cease, KMOX Sports.
Now to college football, where Illinois coach Brett Bielema gave his address at Big Ten Media Days.
Very excited to be here. This is a huge flashback. I actually came here in 1991, I believe, to this hotel as a player representative at the University of Iowa with Hayden Fry. Some of you may have been around during that time, but we came in as a bunch of media scrum. We didn't have individualized and all those breakout sessions, so I'm walking in with Coach Fry. Mike Devlin was the other guy with me, and they say, hey, they never ask players any questions. Never. Coach Fry looked at me. He's like, don't worry about it. They're not going to ask you. I got the first question of the day. So I started off humming. This is my 4th year as the leadoff hitter here in the conference, 6th year back in the league. Super excited. Want to thank you to Commissioner Petiti. Last year they took us to Vegas for meetings, and that was the spot where I met my wife at the Wynn Casino, which is a whole other story. We met in Vegas, and our first date was in Chicago. So to come back to Chicago, which was the first place my wife and I ever had dinner. Excited to get back and be in the mix here. So a lot of great things have happened for us at the University of Illinois. One of the greatest things last week, Josh Whitman, our AD, who's been a huge part of not just success in football, but the University of Illinois over the last 10 years. They gave him a contract that pretty much ensures my contract aligns with his, and his is even a little bit longer. To have that blessing, to have an AD walk that walk with us on a daily basis is absolutely awesome. Been a huge part of why we've had success.
Brett Bielema, the head coach at Illinois, with some information and a little comedy, the Brett Bielema Comedy Hour at the Hilton Chicago. Illinois and college football getting the season started in a month. I'm Tom Ackerman. On the home of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM KMOX, St. Louis Composting's there for you, stlcompost.com for all of your soil, mulch, and compost needs. Growing gardens and making memories is what they like to say at St. Louis Composting. They have 9 locations in the St. Louis area, so there's one near you. You can order bulk delivery of soil, compost, and mulch right to your home or business by going to stlcompost.com as well. I think you're really going to enjoy the business. St. Louis Composting. We had mulch delivered to our home earlier this year, and it still looks great. This would be a great time to have that delivery right now. You can go to their website, their cubic yard calculator, their easy ordering online process, and plus you can click through all the different types of compost, mulch, and soil by the bag that they have available. St. Louis Composting, growing gardens, making memories.
I'm Bill Eigel. I'm a no on data centers. Last year, when a new hyperscale data center was up for a vote in St. Charles City, I'm the only candidate for county executive who stood with you in opposition. Meanwhile, Steve Ellman was writing op-eds in support of data centers. In fact, he spent $400,000 of your taxpayer money to identify 6 locations just for data centers in St. Charles County. I'm Bill Eigel, and if you don't want data centers in our county, then I'm asking for your vote on August 4th.
Paid for by Eigel from Missouri. Lisa Borchers, treasurer.
The soundtrack of classic rock is coming to Hollywood Casino Amphitheater August 6th. Leonard Skinner and Foreigner joining forces for one epic night of legendary hits and unforgettable memories. It's the Double Trouble Double Vision Tour. From Sweet Home Alabama to Cold as Ice. Don't miss your chance to experience these 2 Rock and Roll Hall of Fame acts in one incredible show. Tickets available at Ticketmaster.com. For more info, KMOX.com/events. Broadcasting from the Scott Credit Union Studio, 104.1 FM KMOX. Total Information AM on 104.1 FM KMOX.
6:51 and time to check in with Roger Brand. He's in the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we've still got one of the initial crashes. There may have been 3 crashes, or there were at least 2, Debbie, on North 270, but they cleared all the traffic lanes. It's still on the right shoulder, though. A lot of flashing lights midway up the hill from Doherty Ferry to Manchester. North 270 slows north of the Sappington Road overpass, and it's stop-and-go pockets 44, like I said, up through Doherty Ferry, midway up to Manchester. Then you get back on track after you reach that point. If you're on northbound Telegraph, Christopher up to Herb is jammed. Northbound Tesson Ferry, not jammed like it was, but it's still slow, approaching Butler Hill up through Schuessler. Southbound 61, Wentzville Parkway ramping on to eastbound 70 and eastbound 70 around Bryan Road. Just a little slow. On the Illinois side, things are looking pretty good, except on 15. Looks like we have a crash westbound before you get to 157. It's jammed back to 13 over there in Belleville. And you may still find restrictions downtown around 14th and Market for a couple of blocks as they do accident reconstruction work there. Next update at 6:58 from the overhead door company at St. Louis Traffic Center.
Brought to you by Liberty Mutual Insurance.
Liberty, 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 liberty. Brought to you by Liberty Mutual Insurance. Why pay full insurance when you can customize and save? Switch to Liberty Mutual and they'll customize your auto and home insurance so you only pay for what you need. Liberty, 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 liberty.
It's going to be sunny today, warm but less humid, high of 88. Clear tonight, low 67. Tomorrow, a high of 87. It's 72 right now.
The Better Business Bureau is out with a warning about a new scam involving postcards sent to seniors.
The mailers offer something hard to resist in today's economy, a gas and grocery voucher worth $309. However, they ask you to call a phone number to pay a processing fee and give some info before you can get the money.
One person paid the $5 processing fee, and then immediately they took an additional $46.
Alma Galvan with the Bureau says asking money up front for a prize is a red flag, though free money isn't always too good to be true.
I know locally here there's a lot of nonprofits that do offer, free gas vouchers or food vouchers. They're not at the high amount that these vouchers were.
Galvan says people should always do their research before providing their personal information to anybody and report any scams to the Bureau so they can warn others. Albert James.
Still rising. I'm Fred Bottomer with 60 Seconds to Better Health. The number of measles cases confirmed in the United States breaks a 3-decades-old record. We get more from ABC News correspondent Yuri Benajad.
Measles is the most contagious disease in the world, and cases have now hit a 35-year record. The CDC data now showing the number of measles cases so far this year has hit 2,318. Cases being reported across 43 states and D.C. It's the highest number of cases since 1991. And it's not just about a rash. About 1 in 5 people land in the hospital. Measles can lead to pneumonia, which is the most common cause of death in kids infected with the virus. Then there's encephalitis, a swelling of the brain that can lead to seizures and deafness. 3 people also died last year, including 2 young schoolgirls. The record numbers come as vaccination rates have been steadily declining over the past few years, now leaving more than 285,000 kindergartners in the U.S. without protection from the disease. Up to 90% of unvaccinated people exposed to the virus will get sick, and doctors now urging parents to consider the MMR vaccine, which after 2 doses is 97% effective.
With 60 seconds to better health, I'm Fred Bottomer.
Also in the news, heard about this. Listen to Megan talk about this yesterday. Boy Kibble, 2-ingredient meal that is trending. The name comes from how simple the recipe is: a protein and a carb, usually ground beef and rice. Registered dietitian Michelle Wilson says as far as trends go, this one isn't bad.
Pros would be that, like, if you're cooking from home, you could be saving money. If you're making something fresh, then you're less likely to have a lot of these other ingredients that are in there. So whenever you're cooking for yourself, you're more in control of what's in your food.
However, she says the meal is missing fats and fibers, which can be easily added with oils, butter, or vegetables.
I heard it's somebody's birthday.
Birthday excitement. It's your birthday.
Big happy birthday to our buddy Dave LaPointe, the former Cardinal, celebrating a birthday today. He is 67 today. And a happy birthday to him. We love Pointer.
The birthday shout-out is sponsored by Renner Garage Door, RENNER, forward and back. Happy birthday wishes going out to Sheila Harris Wheeler. Happy 24th, Alec Jenkins from Babu and the family. Linda Carney is celebrating, so is Joanne Pickett. Happy 16th to Chase Ziller. And happy birthday wishes to Scott Mosby.
The best birthday ever.
You know how old McKelvey Homes is? They've been around since 1898. That'd be 128 years old. And they've been going strong ever since. McKelvey Homes, Missouri's oldest home builder. I've known their president, Jim Brennan, for a long time. And, you know, they give back to the St. Louis community. For every home they sell, they donate $1,898 in honor of that year they were founded. McKelvey's known for quality and for taking care of you every step of the way. You make the call, and they'll build a home that you love. Strawberry Farms is open in O'Fallon, Missouri, east of Highway K on Mexico Road. Walking trails, a lake, wooded lots, and a playground. That's a nice way to live. The display is now open at McKelveyHomes.com. You can see it. Move up to McKelvey. You might want to check out Post Farms in O'Fallon as well. It's right there. 2 pickleball courts, scenic lakes, open green space, and a playground. Wentzville schools. Quick access to 364, 64, and 70. I'm telling you, McKelvey Homes has always done it, and they continue to do great things with homes and home sites in the St. Louis area. Move up to McKelvey.
Closeout season is heating up at Seidenstricker Nobe Partners with sizzling hot summer savings on John Deere compact tractor packages. For a limited time, get $3,500 off the S&P price on a John Deere 2025R with a loader, plus 0% financing with 0 down. Find compact tractor package savings at snpartners.com. Seidenstricker Nobe, your partner for the land.
Offer valid through 8/31/2026. Some restrictions apply. See dealer for details.
Registered lobbyist Mike Deering is not the kind of guy you want in the state Senate.
Did you say he was a registered lobbyist?
Sure did. When conservatives like Tricia Burns tried to pass a bill to take back the 300,000 acres in Missouri allowed to be controlled by China, lobbyist Mike Deering testified against it. When conservatives like Tricia Burns fought alongside Missouri cattlemen to require foreign beef to be labeled, lobbyist Mike Deering testified against that too. While conservatives like Tricia Burns are fighting to protect your farmland from being paved over by data centers, lobbyist Mike Deering described Google's Montgomery County hyperscale data center as a
very positive thing.
Deering also endorsed liberal Democrat Chris Koster for governor and openly mocked President Trump. Registered lobbyist Mike Deering, anti-Trump, pro-Democrat, bought out by foreign ag interest, and in love with data centers. Take down data center Deering on August 4th. Vote America First conservative warrior Tricia Burns for state senate.
Paid for by Mo Constitutional Conservative Council PAC, Scott Lady Treasurer.
Here's Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Debbie, the only delays we have are North 270 south of Gravois, pockets of stop and go up through Manchester because of recent crashes. Next update at 7:10 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Going to be less humid today with a high of 88 degrees. I'm Tom Ackerman, and these are the stories making news coming up after ABC News at 7 o'clock.
A 40-year St. Louis company says it is moving headquarters.
When is a sandwich more than just a sandwich? When it's made with fresh baked bread from St. Louis Bread Company.
I'm Michael Calhoun with the latest.
You may remember the story last week about a large mound of dirt in Soulard. I'm Jade Aubrey, and I'll give you the latest updates next hour.
News, talk, cards. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
It's 7 o'clock.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. Missiles flying again in the Middle East. CENTCOM says it shot down several missiles fired from Iran. Jordan says it intercepted missiles as well. This after several days of a pause in the fighting and after President Trump and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu met 5 months after the war began.
Netanyahu later described their Oval Office sit-down as excellent. He said it was a conversation of full partnership, of mutual support. He actually described it as one of the best conversations he's had with President Trump. The White House, in a very brief statement from Caroline Leavitt, said that it was a positive and productive meeting.
That's ABC's Mary Bruce. Search teams in Japan still trying to find survivors after the strong earthquake that hit the southern part of the country. At least 13 people are confirmed dead, but that number is expected to go up. Trump administration set to stop subsidies for Medicare Part D that could push premiums for the prescription coverage up as much as $20 a month. This is ABC News. Jay Clayton has been confirmed by the Senate as the next director of national intelligence. Republican Senator Tom Cotton citing his experience as a U.S. attorney for the Southern District of New York.
He's overseen numerous high-profile cases, including the indictment of Venezuelan dictator Nicolas Maduro and the prosecution of an Iran-backed terrorist connected to multiple attempted terror attacks in the United States.
Democratic Senator Ron Wyden, though, citing Clayton's refusal to say who won the 2020 election, only that it was certified.
He has repeated baseless conspiracy theories about American elections, refused to acknowledge who won the 2020 election, and participated in an abusive investigation of American journalists while providing false testimony to Congress about that investigation.
The vote was 51-47 along party lines, all Republicans voting yes. I'm Sherry Preston, ABC News.
It is 7:02 and it's 70 degrees with mostly
And next month's being unlimited, capping members at 30 drinks a month. Panera Brands moving its headquarters from St. Louis to the Boston area. Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
14th and Market outside Stiefel Theater has been shut down because of a deadly crash early this morning. City police say a motorcyclist is dead after the driver crashed into a Metro bus sometime around 4:30 this morning. They don't believe anyone on the bus was hurt.
Police are still looking for the suspects in last night's ambush on officers. The St. Louis Police Department says officers and federal agents were conducting a traffic stop after 9 p.m. near Thekla Avenue and Riverview Boulevard. Another vehicle arrived on the scene during the stop and opened fire on the officers.
Police pursued the vehicle, a gray Ford Fusion without license plates, to the 1500 block of Sells Avenue, where the suspects got away. If you live in the area, police would love if you had relevant surveillance footage, maybe doorbell camera footage. You could email that to tips@slmpd.org.
Jefferson County health officials want residents to be aware of possible West Nile virus activity in the area following the discovery of the virus in 2 batches of mosquito samples in the county.
According to the Jefferson County Health Department, mosquitoes collected from trap sites in Arnold and DeSoto this month have tested positive for West Nile virus. West Nile virus can be spread to humans through the bite of an infected mosquito. The Jefferson County Health Department says it's implemented control measures in the affected area of DeSoto, but it has no jurisdiction to do so in Arnold. The department has not reported any human cases of West Nile virus linked to the findings, but it's reminding residents to reduce their risk of exposure by staying indoors during peak hours, eliminate any standing water around your house, and keeping doors and windows shut in the evening. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
Next week, St. Louis County voters will decide whether to approve an online sales tax. Would it be enough?
Chris Grant-Howard is the budget policy coordinator for the St. Louis County Council and says cuts will be necessary to balance the county's budget if the online sales tax fails next week.
The use tax is your only path to avoid the scenario I just created for you. If you don't have a use tax, then you're going to have to make serious cuts, and the people will then maybe figure out what it is they're willing to live without or what they're willing to pay for.
St. Louis County Director of Performance, Management, and Budget, Paul Kreidler, says the cuts would likely have to come from public safety with how large of a presence it has within their budget. Councilwoman Shalonda Webb says even if it passes, the county will need to find a growing revenue source in the long term to keep up with their growing costs. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
FEMA has awarded St. Louis City an additional $2.9 million of funds to continue employing case managers who help residents navigate the recovery effort. However, the city only has around 10 case managers who handle nearly 1,000 open and under review cases. KMOX asked Mayor Kara Spencer if these funds could go towards not just keeping the staff employed, but hiring more.
The specific details maybe we can get to you. This is what we're really here talking about is the $2.9 million that we just learned we're getting. And so how that actually gets deployed is something that will come in the coming days, weeks.
Mayor Spencer said this funding came on the heels of her recent trip to D.C. Her spokesperson said there is no update on the potential for a HUD Community Development Block Grant for disaster relief.
St. Louis County is still searching for a headquarters solution. A retiring county facilities project manager has an idea for county council members to finally resolve the office space question. Tap into the county's RAM settlement money. Kevin Hutchinson told county members yesterday they've basically got three options: buying a building, a lease purchase, or a new lease, and warned that the situation is urgent.
It might even be wise to take a portion of the NFL rainy day fund to help implement solutions. Because it's my personal thought that it's already raining and it's beginning to flood right now.
The council and administration have been criticized for tapping that RAMS fund to just balance the yearly budget. Council Chair Rita Day sent Hutch, as he's known, off with a thank you.
I'm sad to see you go, but I understand your desires, and we have to honor that. But this is truly a surprise. But I wish you the very, very best in your retirement.
It's estimated that retrofitting the existing county headquarters building to fit modern building code, as it'll be required soon, could cost $100 million.
A new apartment complex has been approved for Lafayette Square's old Praxair site. That corner lot on Jefferson and Choteau has been mostly empty since Praxair moved their operation to Cahokia in 2006 after a fire caused major explosions. The city's preservation board approved plans for 2000 Missouri, a 6-story building of apartments and ground floor retail, according to the Business Journal. 2 other apartment buildings have been built on other portions of the property over the past 3 years.
It's 7:08. Traffic and weather next.
Can you believe politicians nearly doubled state spending since 2019? Yeah, that's twice the rate of inflation.
What do we get for all that extra spending? Nothing.
Yeah, and get this, over 200 loopholes are buried in our tax code, written by lobbyists for wealthy corporations.
Our tax code is rigged against us.
We get taxed on our paycheck, our home, everything we buy.
I guess somebody's got to pay for all that spending.
That's why we need Amendment 5. It puts politicians on a leash.
Forces them to cut taxes and control spending, whether they like it or not.
Amendment 5 closes the loopholes, eliminates income taxes, cuts property taxes, and gives $3,000 a year to average working families.
We decide, not the politicians.
Amendment 5 is the biggest tax cut in Missouri history.
I'm voting yes on Amendment 5. Paid for by Missouri Promise PAC. Mark Ellinger, Treasurer.
Well, it's official. My friends have all switched to Pure Talk because I told them they could save a bunch of money on a super reliable high-speed network with unlimited data. And because they're my friends, they trust me. As for the rest of you, well, Pure Talk understands that even though you might like me, you're not just going to take my word for it, nor should you. For that reason, and for a very limited time, Pure Talk is offering any of their plans for just $15 a month for the first 3 months, including their top-tier unlimited plan that normally sells for $65 a month. Think of it like a test drive, a super simple way to save $150 while you kick the tires on Pure Talk's blazing fast network, and a fine way to see for yourself why I switched from Big Wireless, along with a few 100,000 of my closest friends. Dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and be connected to Pure Talk's friendly U.S. customer service team. Again, dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and let the savings begin.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
It's 7:10. This is Total Information AM. I'm Debbie Monterey, along with Tom Ackerman and Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, the biggest delays we have, Debbie, are still on northbound 270. That's where we had some of our first troubles of the morning. And I still see some flashing lights, not as many, but there's still a few vehicles, emergency vehicles on the shoulder, northbound 270, south of Manchester. We had 2 or 3 earlier crashes. I never could tell for sure, 2 for sure. But anyway, one of them is still there on the shoulder before Manchester. So traffic is slow approaching Gravois. Just slow all the way up through to that point south of Manchester on northbound 270 right now. Out west, you look good. Southbound 61 getting onto eastbound 70 or 64. No delays coming across the Missouri River bridges. On the south side, things look good, except for right around McNutt. We have a little bit of a backup. Northbound 55 headed up toward the Joachim Creek. Also, Telegraph, Christopher up to Herb. That's bumper to bumper. And on the Illinois side, westbound 64, west of 25th Street to the 70 split is still heavy. Eastbound 5570 delays approaching 111. Westbound, you're heavy at Exchange. And westbound 15 from the 13 split coming out of Belleville, midway down the hill to 157 is still backed up from an earlier crash. And there's still restrictions downtown around 14th and Market. Really, it's from Tucker to 18th Street and Olive to Clark are the boundaries from an earlier fatal crash investigation. Next update at 7:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Hazy sunshine today. It'll remain quite warm, but it will turn less humid. The high 88. Then mainly clear tonight, low 67. Sunshine mixing with clouds tomorrow. Nice day, the high 87. It'll cloud up on Friday and become breezy and more humid with time. Look for a couple of showers and a thunderstorm, especially during the afternoon hours. Friday's high 84. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Right now, we have a beautiful morning. It's 73 degrees in downtown St. Louis.
And they are probably grateful, the people who work on our roads, grateful for the bit of a cool down. It's 7:12. They had a major blow up in O'Fallon as extreme heat caused a section of Highway K to buckle. MoDOT crews did temporary repairs yesterday, but will be making the full repair today. So between 8 and 3, expect the left lane and left turn lane on Highway K to be closed.
MoDOT's Bob Becker says blow-ups happen when there are multiple days of 90 degrees or higher, causing the pavement to expand and any moisture underneath causing the pavement to buckle. If you see a blow-up, you can call it in to 888-ASK-MoDOT.
The Union Pacific Railways in the Eureka area are back open following Sunday's train derailment.
Eureka Fire Chief Scott Barthelmess.
The bridge has been closed by St. Louis County Highway Department. I don't know what the outcome of that will be. There was a rail car that did strike the bridge, one of the bridge piers, and wrapped itself around that pier.
Barthelmess says the Crescent Golf Course is inaccessible to the general public because of its close proximity to the Lewis Road Bridge. This is not the Lewis Road overpass on 44. This is the bridge that crosses over the rail tracks. Maria Aquino, KMOX News.
It is closed now and has been since Sunday after the coal cars derailed.
St. Louis County Highway Department and Public Works spokesman Dave Roan talking with KMOX about the fate of the Lewis Road Bridge by the Crescent Golf Course.
It's a very old bridge. I mean, it was built in like the late 1920s. Our ultimate goal, we do want to replace it, but we don't have a schedule for that right now.
The concrete bridge is 30 feet above the Union Pacific tracks, and there is only one house and a golf course in that area.
You may remember our story from last week about a large dirt mound in Soulard. Jade Aubrey has more on the cleanup efforts that are finally underway.
Cleanup efforts have started at 2221 South 7th Street in Soulard, which is the property the over 15 feet tall mound of dirt sits on. Last week, the acting building commissioner for the city of St. Louis said he believed the dirt piled up after the owner allowed a small amount of material to be dumped from a nearby construction site, and that the dumping snowballed over several months. JLN Soulard Properties declined to comment last week, but now in a statement to KMOX, a spokesperson for the owner says he was, quote, completely unaware of the situation until the city reached out. He says a contractor from a different project used the site without authorization and that the mound will be cleared within the next week to 10 days. Today, a crew is on site and taking truckfuls of dirt from the property. Jade Aubrey, KMOX News.
Well, if the hot weather has you down, you can start thinking about winter. Gateway Arch Park Foundation is now taking reservations for igloos at Winterfest. The annual winter celebration in Keener Plaza opens November 21st. Executive Director Ryan McClure says Winterfest and the igloos have become a tradition, from family reunions and holiday card photos to other milestone moments. Reservations can be made at archpark.org/winterfest. Well, if the Cardinals keep playing like this, they won't be playing in October. The Cardinals are a game under 500, and let's start our coverage with John Rooney.
With Mike Claiborne, I'm John Rooney, and last night at Busch Stadium, a lengthy at-bat by Ian Happ resulted in a 2-run double in the first inning. The Cubs batted around +1, scoring 5 runs on 5 hits in the second, on the way to a 10-2 victory, and the Cubs have won the first 2 games in the series, dropping the Cardinals under 500 for the season for the first time this year.
First time this year, and we were waiting on Ian Happ to do something against the Cardinals. Last night, it was his night. We saw Bregman and Horner the night before, but the Cardinal pitching just hasn't been what it needs to be, John, and the offense has to find a way to get something going tonight.
And you're right about Michael McGreevy, who lost to Colin Ray. Colin Ray is 8-7 with the win. McGreevy was out there for an inning and 2/3, giving up 7 runs on 8 hits. Broadcast time tonight will be at 5:50. Ricky Horton has the lineups at 6:35. First pitch at 6:45.
With reaction, KMOX's Matt Pauley.
The Cardinals are going through it. With their 10-2 loss to the Cubs, they've lost 9 of 12 since the All-Star break and are below 500 for the first time this season. The loss is largely a result of the normally consistent starting pitcher, Michael McGreevy, allowing 7 runs while recording just 5 outs, in addition to the team scoring just 2 runs. Manager Oliver Marmol says it's frustrating that multiple areas of the team letting down on any given night has led to the recent downturn.
We've seen our pen give it up. Not having the leverage lefty in JoJo is part of that, which it's just part of baseball. Guys end up getting hurt, unfortunately, as was the appendix. And it allows other people opportunity, but it's youth will at times rear its head, and you'll have games like we did on the road. This is one that we haven't seen with our starting pitching as far as McGreevy. So it's popped up in different areas, but it's not one thing that you can point to. The disappointing thing is that it's happened in different areas all bunched together in a matter of a couple weeks.
The Cardinals have scored 3 runs or less in 8 of their last 11 games. At Busch Stadium, Matt Pauley, KMOX Sports.
Cut of the game sponsored by the Diamond Shop, thediamondshop.net. Now to soccer.
St. Louis City SC has taken all 9 points since returning from the World Cup break, but starting goalkeeper Roman Berkey says the difference goes beyond the results. City's captain believes the team has become better at managing matches.
We had a lot of very good performances, but at the end we were in the locker room without any points. Now we managed the game the way we want. We, I think, improved in how we play the game maturity-wise, and so I think we're on a good way.
Berkey says City is now playing with a more possession-oriented plan than at any other point during his time in St. Louis.
It's the first time that we have a ball-oriented plan to play the game. Before it was more like outworking everybody. Now it's like also a little bit with outplaying someone. That obviously is the most difficult part in soccer. Having the ball and outplay an opponent or creating chances, scoring goals. It's been day and night to see how we improved.
City puts its 3-game winning streak on the line Saturday against Real Salt Lake. Pre-game coverage begins at 7 on Y98 with kickoff at 7:30. Jen Cease, KMOX Sports.
Coming up at 7:45, Illinois at Big Ten Media Days. And Brett Bielema, I'm Tom Ackerman on the home of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
There's a saying, it takes a group of good men to build a barn, and only one to tear it down. Well, a few Jeff City politicians are at it again, tearing things down with Amendment 5 and Amendment 4. no on 5 and 4. 5 takes our money with higher sales taxes, higher taxes on gas, guns, and groceries, a sales tax hike on rent and diesel, seed and feed. 4 takes away our constitutional right to vote and go around the establishment politicians and to stop higher taxes. Takes away our safety valve, a vote of the people to stop or reverse a dumb idea like the everything tax. I'm a no. A heck no. No. No on Amendment 5. No on Amendment 4. No on both 4 and 5. Paid for by no on the everything tax.
I'm with Mark Cantor of Cantor Injury Law. And Mark, why is it so important for you to be a local law firm?
Well, being local means more than just advertising here, more than just a billboard on the highway. It means showing up here. It means supporting local events and local charities.
But why is local so important?
It's important because we know the law, we know the judges, we know the roads, and we understand the community.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertising.
You can count on Cantor. Visit CantorInjuryLaw.com.
A common question I receive is, how is the market right now? It just seems so volatile. Hi, I'm Christina Straight, owner of Straight Realty. If you want to buy or sell but feel overwhelmed by the whiplash of the market, then let's talk. With over 23 years as a broker, I have the exact experience you need to help you navigate this tricky market. Call me at 314-441-4444. 314-441-all-4s. And remember, why pay more than 2?
Commissions are not regulated and are negotiable. Straight Realty is a licensed broker in the state of Missouri.
Tired of your phone bill constantly going up? Stop the madness with Boost Mobile. Get unlimited talk, text, and data for just $25 a month. No contracts, no catches. And that $25 price is locked in forever. Switch to Boost Mobile today.
Debbie Monterey, Megan Lynch, Tom Ackerman. Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
7:20 and time for traffic and weather. Let's check in with Roger Brand. He joins us from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, things are still status quo on North 270, Debbie. It's still slow going. There's still at least one, I don't know if it's a police car or MoDOT on the shoulder, North 270 south of Manchester from where we had earlier crashes. So North 270 is still bogged down from about the Sappington Road overpass up through Gravois. Minor crash reported north of Gravois. But again, that slow going remains most of the way to Manchester on northbound 270. That's the biggest delay we have out there interstate-wise. Now, we still have a little bit of a backup northbound 55, north of A up through McNutt, opens up before you get to the Joachim Creek. A little busy in that little backup in that construction zone. And then on the Illinois side, a couple of delays. Westbound 64 now is slow, approaching 25th Street, up through to the 70 split to about 3rd Street. Eastbound 64 backs up, coming through 3rd Street onto 5570. Of course, they have restrictions at Exchange. And then eastbound 5570 is still slow, east of 111 about midway into Black Lane. Looks like they cleared that crash on westbound 15 west of 3rd Street, so things are in better shape for you there. Next update is 7:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Our weather's good, Roger. We're looking at less humid conditions, a high of 88. Clear tonight, low 67. Tomorrow, sunshine mixing with clouds and a high of 87. We're warming up a little bit, but boy, it's nice out there compared to yesterday when we were in the 80s. It's 72 degrees downtown at the Arch.
Principals are experiencing disruption that smartphones create throughout the school day.
That's Illinois Governor Pritzker saying legislation he has signed will prohibit cell phone and personal devices being used in all public schools statewide.
Parents have been concerned and have seen cyberbullying and, of course, the mental health impact that social media and phone usage are having on our kids. Students share that concern. Schools in Illinois that have adopted cell phone-free classroom policies have seen improvements in academic performance and student engagement and overall well-being.
Pritzker says bullying declines, grade point averages improve, AP scores increase, and students spend more time connecting with one another instead of scrolling past each other.
Gambling has now been officially recognized as an addiction in Illinois. Carolina Garibay reports.
Governor J.B. Pritzker signed a bill Friday that officially recognizes gambling disorder as an addiction in Illinois. This allows the Illinois Department of Human Services to offer programs and support to compulsive gamblers and affected families. Before the bill, people could only receive state-funded inpatient services if they also had a substance use disorder that required inpatient treatment. Supporters of the bill saying it raises awareness for the addiction, one that impacts more than 1 million people in Illinois.
For only the second time in its history, the American Red Cross has declared a national blood crisis.
The number of donations coming in are not keeping pace with hospital demands. The regional communications manager for the American Red Cross, Ann Vastmans, says all blood types are needed, but the situation is especially dire for type O blood, with type O positive blood dropping below a one-day supply.
Anybody can donate. So right now, if we had just 3 extra people show up at blood drives, we can help to end this crisis. So that's 3 extra people. So, grab your mother, grab your brother, your cousin, your best friend, and go and donate together. Make it a family affair.
Extreme heat, poor air quality, and widespread foodborne illnesses are believed to be the major factors in this current low donor turnout. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
As students in the state of Missouri get ready to head back to the classroom, health experts are reminding parents to make sure vaccinations are up to date. The message comes as the United States experiences its highest number of measles cases in more than 35 years. MU Healthcare pediatric infectious diseases physician Dr. Amruta Padye says the MMR vaccine rate came down last year to 90%.
So for diseases like measles, where you do need a substantial herd immunity, having low community immunity for these diseases allows them to spread. So the threshold generally for measles we think of as being 95%.
According to reporting by Johns Hopkins University, measles cases in the United States have now topped 2,000 for a second straight year. That's a sharp increase from the few dozen to few hundred cases typically reported annually since measles was declared eliminated in 2000.
1 in 5 parents need help from their own children to buy back-to-school items, according to a new study that came out Tuesday. Adriana Ocañas is a consumer credit cards analyst at U.S. News & World Report and tells KMOX that was a surprising number.
I was able to kind of see a little bit of a difference as well between the income that parents and guardians have. It depends on how much the household income is. For example, more children of those coming from a household income of over $150,000 are expected to contribute financially compared to children of those with a household income of under $50,000. So I believe a lot of it has to do with survival mode versus, building that generational wealth.
The University of Missouri system has received a massive federal grant to help rebuild America's domestic critical minerals supply chain. UM President Mun Choi has this national significance announcement.
We want to place the United States back in the position of controlling our fair share of critical minerals so that we can rejuvenate manufacturing.
The $38 million grant creates the Regional Innovation and Technology Hub. You can find out more when KMOX goes in depth this morning at 8:30 on Total Information AM. Tonight's your last chance to catch a free concert at the Missouri Botanical Garden. The last summer concert starts at 7 and features the Bedlam Brothers, a local blues, rock, and folk band. An ASL interpreter will be on site.
It is 7:27, and the time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Congress doesn't need more politicians. For nearly 30 years, Joan Von Dross dedicated her life to helping students learn, grow, and succeed. Now she's running for Congress to fight for lower healthcare costs, stronger public schools, and a more affordable future for Missouri families. Teachers solve problems. Politicians play politics.
I'm Joan Von Dross, Democrat from Missouri CD2, and I approve this message. Vote for me on August 4th.
Paid for by Von Dross for Congress.
Everyone needs to have at least one person in their corner in life. When you don't, it's an extremely lonely and frightening place to be. But knowing you have that one person gives you peace and hope. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Since 1988, myself and my firm have been in so many corners for so many clients for so many years. We became the largest injury firm in the world for a reason, and it's not even close. We fought like hell for you. We fight the bullies, automobile insurance companies, the makers of unsafe products, medical providers who injured or killed their own patients. It has been such an honor and made my life complete. If you ever need us, it's easy. On your mobile device or computer, visit forthepeople.com, and then we get to work 24/7. Whether you're hurt in a car crash, injured on the job, or have questions about your Social Security, we're here for you. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/term. That's ethos.com/term. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Are you tired of high cable TV rates? Sign up for Dish today and get a $500 bonus offer while supplies last. Plus, lock in your price for 2 years guaranteed. Call All American Dish, your Dish authorized retailer now.
800-296-1251. 800-296-1251. That's 800-296-1251. Offers require credit qualification, 24-month commitment, early termination fee, and e-auto pay. Restrictions apply. Call for details.
Oh, hey, Sarah. Did you hear my daughter Katie got Camper of the Week?
That's a big deal.
We got a big deal too, right, Mom?
Honey, shh.
What's that?
Okay, that Hyundai Santa Fe, I only paid.
Nice.
Deal's so right, it almost feels wrong. The Hyundai Getaway Sales Event. Get 0% APR for 60 months, plus 0 payments for 90 days, or 1.9% APR for 72 months on the Hyundai Tucson, Santa Fe, or Santa Fe Hybrid during the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event. Hurry, offer ends August 3rd. Call 562-314-4603 for details.
It is 7:30, and we've got sunshine and 69 degrees. That's about 12 degrees cooler than this time yesterday. I'm Debbie Monterey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. Let's see how the traffic looks. Roger Brand, Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Tom, we still have slow traffic on northbound Highway 270. Still about the same. It's pockets running from basically Tesson Ferry up through Gravois. It opens up a little bit before you get to 44, and then north of 44 all the way up to Manchester. Again, it's off the pace, very heavy and slow from earlier crashes that occurred in the 6 a.m. hour. If you're on eastbound 64, there's a little bit of a delay right now through 170. There's a brief slowdown there. Westbound 64, McCausland out to Hanley, starting to slow down, especially the right lanes. Eastbound Highway 70, 94 to 5th Street, you're a little busy. Not as bad at 55 now. Just a brief slowdown in McNutt. Earlier, we had a little more of a backup downtown. We've got some more volume on westbound 64. It's almost 111 over to 3rd Street and then across the Poplar and eastbound 64, 3rd Street onto 5570 backing up. Again, it's down to one lane between 64 and Exchange on eastbound 5570, and then you've got the usual delays, eastbound roadwork right past 111. Next update is 740 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
All right, today, hazy sunshine and less humid. It will be 88 degrees, so it'll be warm, but with the less humidity, it should feel better. 87 tomorrow and 84 with the possibility of a couple showers and thunderstorms on Friday. It's 69 degrees with sunshine right now.
It's 7:32. 14th and Market outside Stiefel Theater has been closed all morning following a deadly crash. City police say a motorcyclist is dead after the driver crashed into a Metro bus sometime around 4:30 this morning. That's according to Fox 2, and they don't believe anyone on the bus was hurt at the time.
The Illinois State Police holding a statewide hiring event specifically for women today. Women interested in law enforcement can learn more about ISP careers at the Women of ISP Career Pathway event. It's going on from 10 to 1 today at Southwestern Illinois College in Belleville.
The company born as St. Louis Bread Company is now moving its headquarters to Massachusetts.
Panera tells employees in a memo reviewed by KMOX that it will open a new home office in Weston, Massachusetts, near Boston, next July, relocating St. Louis jobs. The move comes as the fast casual restaurant works through what it's calling its RISE transformation plan, an effort to reverse years of flat and declining sales that CEO Paul Carbone has described as death by 1,000 paper cuts. That plan has already meant the end of fresh in-store baking in favor of frozen dough, and starting next month, a 30-drink monthly cap on what used to be the Unlimited Sip Club. Now it also means the end of Panera as a St. Louis-based company. No word on what happens to the St. Louis Bread Company banner in the city and the county. Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Mayor Kara Spencer is traveling to Mexico today to attend the Mayors of the Americas Task Force on Migration. The mayors will discuss programs for migrant inclusion. Spencer will meet with 7 other mayors from countries in the hemisphere and will be one of only 2 U.S. mayors at this meeting. The city says that trip is not funded by taxpayer dollars.
Your Money Minute is next at 7:34, and the news is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com.
When Donald Trump needs conservative votes to help pass his agenda for Missouri, Representative Trisha Burns never answers the call. Trisha Burns has missed 370 votes. Burns is bucking President Trump's priorities. Burns did not vote to stop DEI initiatives, prevent China from owning Missouri land, defund Planned Parenthood, and Burns did not vote to ban boys from girls' sports. Trisha Burns not showing up for Missouri and President Trump. Instead, Trisha Burns spends her time pulling pranks on the suicide prevention hotline. Yes, you heard that right. Trisha Burns lied to the police and staged a fake suicide emergency. She sent a series of messages to the hotline and said she, quote, had a gun to her head, end quote. When she got caught, she said there'd be no consequences because she's a politician. By August 4th, vote to show Trisha Burns that there are consequences to being bad at your job.
Let's Go Brandon PAC paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. Chris Foss, Treasurer.
New Game Plus with Oxy makes your laundry smell incredible and fights stubborn smells, like the ones your dog Biscuit brought into your freshly made bed last night. But you wash that all away with Game, and now you're drifting asleep to the scent and sound of waves. Ah, nope. That's the dog licking your ear.
Biscuit.
It just might be our greatest scent ever. Now with odor fighting power. New Game Plus with Oxy.
What do parents think of back to school at Staples, where supplies start at just 25 cents?
Staples has the latest laptops with up to 40% savings.
I may hug the cashier.
So embarrassing.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
It's a wonderful time at Staples with up to 40% off select tech. Staples.
That was easy.
Visit Staples today or shop online and in the app. Ends 9/12. Exclusions apply.
It is 7:36. Let's get you updated on your Money Minute, sponsored for you by Busey Bank.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Some seniors could soon pay more for prescription drug coverage. The Trump administration plans to end a federal subsidy program a year ahead of schedule that helped keep Medicare Part D premiums in check. The elimination of the subsidies could leave some in the program facing higher costs next year. Turning to trading, S&P futures are looking at gains as investors brace for a packed day of events. Microsoft and Facebook parent Meta report earnings results this afternoon. Plus, the Federal Reserve takes center stage at 2 p.m. Eastern Time with its interest rate decision. And Apple is making its biggest push yet into the smart home market. The tech giant plans to kick off a wave of home products soon with a hub device built around its new Siri AI assistant. Sources also tell us Apple's preparing to release a new TV set-top box and a refreshed HomePod Mini. This move will put Apple in more direct competition with Amazon and Google. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
This is the take care of my family goal. This is the enjoy the life I've built goal. This is the set up a foundation goal. This is Busey, where your goals become lasting legacies. Through bespoke plans that maximize your wealth, through partnerships that give you peace of mind. Because building wealth, tending to it, and passing it down secures a brighter future. Busey Bank, building business, growing wealth since 1868. Member FDIC.
BJC Healthcare and WashU Medicine orthopedic specialists are here to help. Nationally recognized leaders in orthopedics deliver care that's informed by research and personalized for you. From everyday aches to complex injuries and recovery, we're here to help you get back to doing what you love. Find an orthopedic specialist today. Visit bjc.org/orthopedics or call 314-362-9355.
Bill, you're an old politician.
Yup, sure am.
So you know the old-timers warned that someone trying to sell you a pig in a poke was a con man.
Well, sure.
Well, no offense, Tom, but your politician's Amendment 5 is a pig in a poke, compelling politicians to raise our taxes without a vote of the people. And the politicians' Amendment 4 takes away our power to do anything about it. Well, let's look at what's really inside 4 and 5.
Oh, don't do that.
5 hits hardest seniors and those struggling financially with new taxes on services like doctor visits, in-home care, and rent. Sales taxes could more than triple. For up to 80% of Missourians, it's a tax hike. And Amendment 4 ends majority rule, effectively ending our power to stop corrupt and out-of-control politicians.
Slick plan, huh?
No, Tom, 4 and 5 are schemes that hurt citizens and transfer our power and our money to politicians and lobbyists. That's why I'm voting no on the politicians' Amendments 4 and 5, paid for by Missourians for Fair Government.
This year, America celebrates 250 years. 2.5 centuries of courage, sacrifice, and family stories passed down from one generation to the next. Hi, I'm Nick Mako.
And I'm Adam Baselogger, founders of Legacy Box. Your family's piece of the American story is sitting in an attic or closet right now, trapped on aging VHS tapes, camcorder tapes, film reels, and fading photos.
Those boxes hold moments you can never recreate. Your wedding day, your children's voices when they were little, grandparents coming back to life on screen.
Over 2 million families have trusted Legacy Box. And we've just partnered with the USO to digitize fragile handwritten letters from World War II, helping preserve American history for future generations.
As America turns 250, remember that your family is a part of the American story. Preserving those voices, faces, and moments is a part of your responsibility to the next generation. Don't let them disappear on your watch.
Visit legacybox.com/radio for our amazing America 250 sale. That's legacybox.com/radio to save.
Today, the Cards, the Cubs. Ameren Total Access 550. First pitch 6:45. Cardinals Radio. 104.1 FM KMOX.
7:40 and time for traffic and weather. It's a sunny morning, but I think you will be pleasantly surprised as you head out the door. Roger Brand starts us off here to tell us what's on the roadways from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Looks like we have a couple of minor incidents, Debbie, if you're heading eastbound right now into work. This traffic report's a service of Financial and Tax Strategies. Eastbound 70, right before 5th Street, it looks like we have an incident. It's backed up approaching 94, but I just can't see what's blocking there. And then another one, it looks like it's at the end of the ramp from 141 getting onto southbound 141, I think, getting onto eastbound 44. Eastbound 44 is backed up briefly at 141, but southbound 141 is a solid jam back through Vance coming down to 44, I think, like I said, trying to get on to eastbound 44 at that point. Northbound 270 approaching Gravois all the way up to Manchester, slow because of earlier problems. Eastbound 64 McKnight to Big Bend's heavy. Westbound 64 Science Center to Big Bend is slow. South 170 bogs down at the Parkway. On the Illinois side, westbound 64 backs up in pockets from 111 to the Poplar. Eastbound 64 3rd Street onto Highway 70, 5570 because of the restrictions past 64, and 5570 delays around 111. Next update is 750 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
If your retirement plan is mostly what if and a little fingers crossed, you deserve better answers than that. Check out Wealth and Wisdom Saturdays at 7 a.m. here on KMOX. I'm Gary Goldberg. Call 800-966-1690.
AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. We have a nice one coming up today.
Indeed, we do. Lots of sunshine, Tom. It'll be very warm this afternoon with a high of 88, but without the humidity that we've had the past few days. So in comparison, it's going to be extraordinarily comfortable. Then tonight, mainly clear. 67 our overnight low. Sun will mix with clouds tomorrow. We stay in the upper 80s. A little bit cooler on Friday. More clouds around. Maybe a couple of showers and a thunderstorm move in, especially for the afternoon, the high 84. Saturday, we may stay in the 70s with clouds and a couple of showers or even a thunderstorm, the high 76. Sunday, clouds and some sunshine, just a chance for a thunderstorm, the high 81. Right now, it's 74 at St. Peter's, 72 in Florissant, sunshine 73 downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It's now 7:42. Thank you for that news, Joe. U.S. forces across the Middle East are on high alert after a surprise attack by Iran breaking a days-long pause in fighting. That conflict seeming to escalate across the Middle East. ABC News senior political correspondent Rachel Scott has more.
Saudi Arabia under fire from Iranian-backed groups in the region, shooting down drones in the eastern part of the country. Overnight, the U.S. and Saudi Arabia retaliating, striking Iran-backed proxy groups in Iraq. The first time Saudi Arabia has carried out strikes in that country since the start of the war. And in the Red Sea, the Iranian-backed Houthi rebels in Yemen claim to have struck a Saudi oil tanker, threatening another critical waterway in the Middle East.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu met separately with President Donald Trump on Tuesday. Zelensky said that he and Trump had a good meeting and that the two discussed licenses for Patriot interceptor missiles. ABC's Patrick Revell.
Zelensky said that they again talked about giving a license to Ukraine to produce Patriot air defense missiles, which Ukraine desperately wants. And also they talked about trying to push diplomacy forward, hoping that maybe as the war has started to tilt more in Ukraine's favor, perhaps there is now more of a chance for diplomacy. But clearly what we've seen in recent months, and since that meeting in the Oval Office early on, is this big shift in how President Trump seems to view Zelensky. He seems now to see him much more positively.
By a vote of 51 to 47 along party lines, the Senate confirmed Jay Clayton last night to serve as the next director of national intelligence.
Jay Clayton enters the role of the country's top spy chief with limited experience in national security matters, having spent the majority of his career as a white-collar lawyer. During Trump's first term, he ran the Securities and Exchange Commission, and he most recently served as the U.S. Attorney in Manhattan, bringing high-profile cases against former Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro, as well as a special forces soldier accused of insider trading on Polymarket. Clayton will replace acting DNI Bill Pulte, a fierce ally of the president who's terminated nearly 30% of his office in the 5 weeks he's held the job. Peter Haralambous, ABC News.
Ins and Outs, sponsored by Innsbruck Resort, where every day is the weekend. Let's go around the horn. We'll finish with college football. In the middle, we'll go to soccer. And right now, perhaps reluctantly, we'll turn to baseball. And I say reluctantly because the Cardinals do not look good. And with the trade deadline approaching, Matt Pauley, certainly looks like the Cardinals will be looking for some pitching depth. Yesterday, surprisingly, one of their better pitchers failed them.
Michael McGreevy makes the 40th start of his major league career as the Cardinals lose to the Cubs 10-2. It's a start like he's never had before, as he records just 5 outs and does not make it out of the second inning, giving up 7 runs. Over his first 39 career starts, he had never thrown less than 4 innings, and he has thrown at least 6 innings in 8 of his previous 9 appearances. While it happens at a bad time for the team, manager Oliver Marmol is not worried about the normally very consistent McGreevy.
He's been pretty good for us over the last couple of years. He's had a very consistent year. This year, his approach, how he prepares, all of it is exactly what you would want. So we have not seen this style of game pop up when he's out there. So you learn from it and you keep moving.
The 7 runs that McGreevy allows tied a career high. At Busch Stadium, Matt Pauley, KMOX Sports.
Cardinal baseball tonight, 6:45 start against the Cubs. You heard Joe's weather forecast. It is much better than in the previous 2 days. With that humidity being lowered, it should be a very good experience over at the ballpark. We'll see you there. As for St. Louis City SC, they are starting to really make things interesting, and now they've added another piece, Jen Cease.
St. Louis City SC has added another attacking piece while riding a 3-game winning streak. For a club record $6 million transfer fee, City signed Danish midfielder Carlo Holza as a designated player on a permanent transfer from Turkey's Super League side, Samsunspor. Head coach Juan Demey says Holza fits exactly what City was looking for.
He is the profile that we want on and off the ball, so I'm looking forward to starting to work with him.
And Demey says Holza's versatility could allow him to fill several roles.
I like his flexibility. I think he's got the ability to play in different positions. Played wide as a winger, he can play as a 10 in between the line. He's played as second forward as well. I also think he could play in a double pivot. Gives us like a lot of things to think about, and I'm looking forward to it.
City also recently signed Romanian attacking midfielder Alexandru Matan. The club hosts Real Salt Lake on Saturday. Pre-game coverage begins at 7 on Y98 with kickoff at 7:30. Jen Cease, KMOX Sports.
Big Ten football media days in Chicago, Ohio State, Oregon, Indiana. Those are the top 3 in the media poll for the upcoming year, and a lot of people are keeping an eye on USC as a team that could show some resurgence this year. Do not overlook Illinois. Here is Coach Brett Bielema with some stats.
You know, in the last 2 years in the Big Ten Conference, we're number 4 behind Indiana, Oregon, Ohio State in 4 really cool categories: win percentages, Power 4 wins, home wins, and ranked wins. And I think if Illinois was in that messaging as the that spot in the Big Ten Conference, a lot of people would find that hard to believe, but not for me. The walk that we walk, the players that we have here today, it's been absolutely awesome. In the last 2 years, we're 8-1 in one-score games in conference play and in bowl games, and that was largely generated by a really good player that left us, Luke Altmaier. So to bring Katin Houser here as one of our player representatives, I wanted him to be known as the quarterback at the University of Illinois going into this season. I think
Brett Bielema and the Illini open with 3 straight home games: UAB on September 3rd, Duke September 12th, and Southern Illinois on September 19th before their first big test, and that'll be at Ohio State on September 26th. The Innsbruck Resort, where every day is the weekend. What a great place it is. Located not far from Columbia, actually. So we've done that before. Speaking of college football, we've dropped by Innsbruck, put our stuff down, checked in, saw our beautiful home right on the lake, and then we headed over to the football game, came back. It's a nice way to spend a weekend. If you're thinking that route, I would look into some fall weekends at Innsbruck. The Mizzou home schedule is a good one. Innsbruck Resort is also great during the summer. It's great anytime. 7,500 acres, over 100 lakes, great fishing. Man, we've had some fun. Audrey and I, especially my youngest daughter, we've caught some big catfish there at Innsbruck and had some fun through the years with family and friends. Innsbruck-resort.com to see all of the homes and amenities. Innsbruck-resort.com. Now for our parlay of the day, sponsored by Circa Sports. Sports betting the way it should be. The favorites to win college football's national championship are Notre Dame and Ohio State, both at plus 700, and Texas now at plus 700. So it's a 3-way tie for the favorite to win the championship. Miami, the runner-up last year, at plus 800. Oregon is plus 800. Georgia is plus 950. I've named 6 schools before I named the defending national champions, Indiana. They are at plus 1250 to win the title. I would say if you're looking for some value and you want to take a little run at one of the teams, I think an interesting team to me is Texas A&M at plus 2,500. They have a very good quarterback in Marcel Reed, and they have an elite defense. Just something to keep an eye on, Texas A&M. I'm Tom Ackerman on the home of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM KMOX.
America is turning 250 this year, and Circa Sports is celebrating by offering all users in Missouri $250. For everyone in Missouri, all you have to do is deposit $250 on your Circa Sports app, then play through that deposit. Once you do, Circa Sports will reward you with $250 right in your account. This is available for everyone in Missouri, new and existing users. Celebrate 250 years and find out more at circasports.com today. Must be 21 or older and in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
The 3-2 pitch with the runner going a swing.
Ready to elevate your game? Join the MBA Sportscasters Forum on Tuesday, September 15th in St. Louis. Learn from Cardinals beat reporters, broadcasters, and Hall of Famer John Rooney as they break down play-by-play, reporting, interviewing, and covering the game. Then cap off the day with the Cardinals versus Giants at Busch Stadium. Step into the booth. Sharpen your skills. Go to KMOX.com/events for details and registration. Broadcasting from the Scott Credit Union Studio, 104.1 FM KMOX. Your morning news and information. Total Information AM.
7:52. Here's Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Maybe I can see that trouble spot now. I mentioned the last report on eastbound 44. It's at the end of the ramp coming on from 141. Looks like maybe a trash truck. I guess it's an accident. Looks minor, though, but the right lane is blocked, and that's why it's backing up, especially southbound 141, jammed back through Vance, trying to use that flyover ramp on eastbound 44. It's right at the end of that ramp, merging onto the highway. Northbound 270, I mentioned earlier, that crash on north of Gravois. It's on the right shoulder. Looks like 4 or 5 cars, so it's slow from Gravois to that point, and then it's heavy from 44 up through Manchester. Eastbound 64 between Clarkson and Timberlake's heavy. Then there's a couple of slow stretches, Lindbergh through the Inner Belt. Westbound 64, Science Center headed out through Bellevue, slow. South 170 delays at the Parkway. Eastbound 70 east of Zumbel in through 5th Street's busy due to an earlier incident we had there in downtown. Westbound 64, west of 111 to the Poplar stop and go. Eastbound 64 jams 3rd Street onto 5570 due to the road work past Exchange, and 5570 is also slow east of 111. Next update is 7:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
AccuWeather's Joe Lundberg says we're going to have a nice day day today, less humid, high 88, mainly clear, low 67 tonight. A high of 87 tomorrow, sunshine mixing with clouds. Currently, it's 72 downtown.
It's 7:53. For years, it was an eyesore of crumbling homes at Kings Highway in Oakland, just south of Barnes. The homes were torn down, but several projects planned for the site have fallen through. Now the city is trying to attract a developer to the vacant lot by declaring the land blighted.
The city's Land Clearance for Redevelopment Authority also authorized a blighting study and plan and advertised the properties. According to the Business Journal, the plan, which the tax abatements must get approval from the Board of Aldermen.
Postcards offering a $300 gas and grocery voucher is the latest scam that the Better Business Bureau is tracking.
Even though it's low tech, it has a lot to do with what is happening around all of us in the economy.
Alma Galvan with the BBB SF Bay Area says the mailers look convincing, targeting seniors to call a phone number, give some personal info, and pay a $5 processing fee.
Any sort of upfront payment before you receive the reward, I would take that as the biggest red sign.
Galvan says it's similar to scams asking for money or sensitive info around Medi-Cal open enrollment time.
We've also seen this type of scam with lotteries, claiming that you've won a car or claiming that you won $500 million, but you have to pay a processing fee. This is the same exact thing.
Galvan says you should never give out personal information under pressure and check for suspicious financial activity if you end up falling victim. Albert James.
Detroit auto expert Jeff Gilbert says in tough economic times, many people have been forced into the used car market, although new car sales are still strong.
The new car market really is for people who do have the means to pay $30,000 and up for a vehicle, often well up over that amount, and they're willing to do it. In terms of trends, we're still seeing pickup trucks and SUVs as the most popular vehicles.
The average monthly car payment now is close to $800 per month.
Ever wished your meal could be as plain and simple as your dog's food? Well, if so, you will like this trending dish called Boy Kibble. It's a mix of protein and carbs in a bowl, usually ground beef and rice. Registered dietitian Michelle Wilson says it is a relatively healthy meal, but is missing the fats and fibers we need.
In general, I like to have at least the size of a fist or at least the size of a baseball for your visual portion for something like carbs or something like your fruits or your vegetables.
For protein, Wilson recommends servings the size of your palm, and for fats, the size of a ping pong ball.
A little ground beef and rice sounds pretty good. I don't know about
Boy Kibble.
Yeah. It's 7:56.
Can you believe politicians nearly doubled state spending since 2019? Yeah, that's twice the rate of inflation.
What do we get for all that extra spending? Nothing.
Yeah, and get this, over 200 loopholes are buried in our tax code, written by lobbyists for wealthy corporations.
Our tax code is rigged against us.
We get taxed on our paycheck, our home, everything we buy.
I guess somebody's got to pay for all that spending.
That's why we need Amendment 5. It puts politicians on a leash.
Forces them to cut taxes and control spending, whether they like it or not.
Amendment 5 closes the loopholes, eliminates income taxes, cuts property taxes, and gives $3,000 a year to average working families.
We decide, not the politicians.
Amendment 5 is the biggest tax cut in Missouri history.
I'm voting yes on Amendment 5. Paid for by Missouri Promise PAC. Mark Ellinger, Treasurer.
At Uline, they know going the extra mile takes hard work. For companies pushing to go further, Uline will go the distance with you. 24/7, they answer the phone to get you the shipping and industrial supplies you need. Business can move fast. Unexpected large orders, adverse weather, new safety guidelines, and changing economic trends. Uline works hard keeping 41,000 items ready to ship, minimizing detours on your way to the extra mile. Visit uline.com.
You know that Big Bargain detergent jug is 80% water, right? It doesn't clean as well.
80% water? I thought I was getting a better deal because it's so big.
If you want a better clean, Tide Pods are only 12% water. The rest is pure, concentrated cleaning ingredients.
Oh, let me make an announcement.
Attention shoppers, if you want a real deal, try Tide Pods.
Stop paying for watered-down detergents. Pay for clean. If it's gotta be clean, it's gotta be Tide Pods. Water content based on the leading bargain liquid detergent.
I'm Bill Eigel. I'm a no on data centers. Last year, when a new hyperscale data center was up for a vote in St. Charles City, I'm the only candidate for county executive who stood with you in opposition. Meanwhile, Steve Ellman was writing op-eds in support of data centers. In fact, He spent $400,000 of your taxpayer money to identify 6 locations just for data centers in St. Charles County. I'm Bill Eigel, and if you don't want data centers in our county, then I'm asking for your vote on August 4th.
Paid for by Eigel from Missouri. Lisa Borchers, Treasurer.
7:58. Here is Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we've got slow going, Debbie, on eastbound Highway 70, just briefly past 64 toward Highway A, and then approaching 94 to 5th Street, where we had an earlier incident. If you're on eastbound 64 itself, there's slow stuff, primarily McKnight in through Hanley, westbound 64 Hampton to Big Bend. It's a little slow around Lindbergh out through Spady. North 270, approaching Gravois, midway up to 44. There's that crash on the right shoulder. Once you get past that, it opens up until you get north of 44, and then it's slow up the hill to Manchester. Eastbound 44, heavy traffic backing up briefly, just coming through 141, just east of there. The right lane's blocked by an incident, and it's backing southbound 141 up at Vance. And on the Illinois side, westbound 64, 37th Street to the Poplars backed up. Eastbound 64, 3rd Street on a 5570 delays, and 5570 approaching 111 midway to 255 is also slow. Next update at 8:10 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Oh, nice day, 72 degrees with some sun in downtown St. Louis. I'm Tom Ackerman, and here's what Megan Lynch has coming up on Total Information AM. Scouts are heading into the wilderness, but in today's world, it's AI and cybersecurity. How do you earn a merit badge for those? Megan will find out after the news.
The University of Missouri is part of a massive federal grant that will put it on the map of America's minerals supply chain.
Can a defendant take back his plea after he's already in prison? KMOX legal analyst Brad Young will have the latest on a case involving the murders of 4 university students.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. Hazy, sunshine, and very warm today with lowering humidity, high 88.
Celebrating 100 years of informing and entertaining. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. The voice of St. Louis.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. On Capitol Hill this morning, Dr. Anthony Fauci facing a Senate hearing over the COVID pandemic, how it started and how the response was handled. The committee chaired by Senator Rand Paul, a longtime critic of Dr. Fauci, who has accused him of lying to Congress. Fauci has been preemptively pardoned by former President Joe Biden. In the Middle East, new attacks after a pause in fighting that lasted for a few days.
U.S. Central Command says Iran fired multiple ballistic missiles, but says all Iranian missiles were successfully intercepted. Axios reports the target was a U.S. base in Jordan. The question now, how will the U.S. respond? In a separate escalation, U.S. and Saudi jets targeted sites in eastern Iraq, linked to Iranian-backed groups believed responsible for attacking Saudi oil facilities.
ABC's Sophie Flay. Hundreds of thousands of people forced to evacuate from their homes in Japan amid aftershocks from the earthquake that killed at least 13 people. This is ABC News. Big-time backlash against a plan to sell stake in the commercial rights to the FIFA World Cup and other tournaments run by the body. FIFA's president, Gianni Infantino, surprising European football's body by now a plan which would be funded by Jared Kushner's brother. The UEFA says flatly that FIFA is not for sale. New neighbors can always be a source of stress, but especially when they've got 4 legs.
Neighbors in West Hollywood frustrated over a pack of coyotes now calling an unfinished condo site home. Resident Patty Fallon says after squatters were forced out, coyotes moved in.
They've been here for about 3-4 months. They hang out on a balcony. I'm a little jealous. They have a balcony. They have rent control, and they howl every night from 10 to 11.
Other neighbors say they're also concerned about the safety of pets and children. The city says it's aware of the coyotes and its policy is to prioritize a non-lethal management technique. Michelle Franzen, ABC News.
I'm Sherry Preston, ABC News.
At 8:02, we have sunny skies, 71 degrees downtown at the Arch. Today is Wednesday, July 29th. I'm Megan Lynch. St. Louis losing another corporate headquarters.
Panera Bread, which Ken Rosenthal founded as a St. Louis bread location in Kirkwood in 1987, confirms to KMOX it is moving its headquarters to the Boston area in July 2027. Many St. Louis area support jobs will relocate from the current headquarters in Fenton, though a smaller local office will remain. Questions include whether city and county restaurants will still carry the Breadco banner. The relocation caps a turbulent stretch for the company, which has traded fresh baked bread for frozen dough, capped its famously unlimited sip club, and watched its sales fall from first to third in fast casual, all while promising a turnaround it's calling Panera Rise. And now the latest step in that turnaround, a headquarters move out of its founding city to a place with higher costs of doing business and higher taxes, but where its CEO has spent most of his life. Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
14th and Market outside the Stiefel Theater is closed this morning following a deadly crash. City police say a motorcyclist is dead after the driver crashed into a Metro bus. It happened sometime around 4:30 a.m., according to our news partners at Fox 2. Police say they don't believe anyone on the bus was injured. Police looking for suspects in last night's ambush on officers. The SLMPD says city officers and federal agents were conducting a traffic stop yesterday after 9 p.m. near Thekla Avenue and Riverview Boulevard. Another vehicle arrived on the scene during the stop and opened fire on the officers. Police pursued the vehicle, a gray Ford Fusion without license plates, to the 1500 block of Sells Avenue. The suspects got away. If you live in the area, police are asking you to submit any surveillance footage to the St. Louis Police Department. St. Louis County voters are less than a week away from deciding whether to establish a 3.5% online sales tax. Whether the tax passes or fails could have a significant impact on the county budget, according to Chris Gran-Howard, the county council's budget policy coordinator.
If you don't have a use tax, then you're going to have to make serious cuts, and the people will then maybe figure out what it is they're willing to live without or what they're willing to pay for.
The county projects their share of the online sales tax revenue would amount to $70 million annually if passed. FEMA providing additional funding to help St. Louis City recover from last year's tornado. How much will it help?
FEMA is providing nearly $3 million to St. Louis City to help fund their case managers. Mayor Kara Spencer says these case managers are there to assist residents get all they can from the various sources of funding.
If there are specific criticisms or specific challenges that individual residents are experiencing, we can help navigate that.
The funding for the case managers was initially provided by the city and due to expire next month. However, the workload on these managers is significant, with nearly 1,000 open and active cases for only around 10 managers. Will these funds allow for more case managers so they can more easily sift through these applications? Mayor Spencer said those answers will come in the coming days. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
It's 8:05. Another reminder to take precautions against mosquitoes. KMOX health editor Fred Bottomer reports.
According to the Jefferson County Health Department, mosquitoes collected from trap sites in Arnold and DeSoto this month have tested positive for West Nile virus. Jeffco officials have implemented control measures in the affected area of DeSoto, but it has no jurisdiction to do so in Arnold. The department has not reported any human cases of West Nile virus linked to the findings, but it's reminding residents to reduce the risk of exposure by staying indoors during peak hours, eliminating any standing water around your house, and keeping doors and windows shut in the evening. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
A major blow-up in O'Fallon as the extreme heat has caused a section of Highway K to buckle. MoDOT crews did temporary repairs yesterday, but will be making a full repair today. Between 8 and 3, expect the left lane and left turn lane on Highway K to be closed. MoDOT's Bob Becker says blow-ups happen when there are multiple days of 90-degree or higher temperatures, causing the pavement to expand, and moisture underneath causes the pavement to buckle. A large dirt mound in Soulard should be gone by the start of August. Let's get more from Jade Aubrey.
At least that's according to the owner of the property at 2221 South 7th Street in Soulard, which the mound sits on. Last week, two officials told me they had reason to believe the owner of the property, JLN Soulard Properties, authorized a small amount of dirt to be dumped months ago, but then it got out of hand. A spokesperson for the owner now says he did not authorize the dumping and wasn't aware of the pileup until the city got involved. The owner says he then, quote, immediately initiated the removal process. But both parties agree on one thing, that the dirt will be gone soon. Last week, city officials said the owner was cooperating with their cleanup requests, and in the statement, the owner says the mound will, quote, be fully cleared within the next 10 days. If you drive by the site today, you'll see an excavator tearing apart the mound and dump trucks taking loads of dirt from the property. Jade Aubrey, KMOX News.
A new apartment complex has been approved for Lafayette Square's old Praxair site. That corner lot on Jefferson and Choteau has been mostly empty since Praxair moved its operation to Cahokia in 2006 after a fire caused major explosions. The city's preservation board approved plans for 2000 Missouri, a 6-story building of apartments and ground floor retail. Tonight's chance to catch a free concert at the Missouri Botanical Garden. The last summer concert starts at 7 p.m. and features the Bedlam Brothers, a local blues, rock, and folk band, and ASL interpreter will be on site. It's 8:08. We'll check traffic and weather in 2 minutes.
The radical left let crime and drugs pour into our nation, and they let biological men into girls' sports. But here in Missouri, if there's a problem, we fix it. That's why Ann Wagner's fixing the mess the radical left made and delivering for us. Wagner voted to ban biological men from competing in girls' sports. And she voted to fund the police and provide more resources for Border Patrol agents, keeping our families, communities, and children safe. And Ann Wagner didn't stop there. In Congress, Wagner passed the largest working class tax cut in American history, kept big government out of our business, protected our way of life, and ensured our communities remain safe. That's why Ann Wagner is endorsed by the Missouri Farm Bureau and Missouri Fraternal Order of Police. Vote Ann Wagner for Congress on August 4th.
I'm Ann Wagner, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Ann Wagner for Congress.
Someone had a birthday.
Yep, 50. Can't believe it.
50 years of wisdom.
Great segue. We have a health reminder from the CDC.
Pneumococcal vaccination is recommended for adults 50 or older. Says here, we're over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia than adults under 50.
I don't love those odds.
Same. Look what I found. Pfizer's Prevnar 20 is proven to help protect adults against pneumococcal pneumonia and invasive pneumococcal disease in just 1 dose. And millions have already gotten it.
Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you have a severe allergy to its ingredients. A weakened immune system may lower your response. Common side effects include injection site pain and swelling, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138. Visit Prevnar20.com or talk to your doctor or pharmacist.
I'm on Prevnar20.com now, scheduling my appointment.
Good idea. And happy 50th.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts. Now the news. At 9, The Talk. The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Coming up on Total Information AM, we're going to tell you why the Scouts are handing out badges for kids who navigate the AI wilderness. Let's get a check on how you're navigating the roads this morning. Roger Brand is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Megan, we still have this incident. Maybe it's a stalled trash truck. I don't know. The end result, though, is the right lane still blocked. There's a big rig tow truck on the scene now. 144 just east of 141. It's at the end of that ramp lane where folks get on from 141, so it's impacting 141. Northbound, you're backed up from about Centurion. Southbound is a solid jam back across the Merrimack River. They're almost back to Vance, trying to get around this situation. Once you do, though, you're good to go. Northbound 270 will slow down north 44, and then to Big Bend up to Manchester. Busy. Eastbound Highway 70 has thinned out 94 to 5th Street. Eastbound 64 just slow, approaching 170 to Hanley. Westbound 64 Bellevue, Big Bend is kind of busy. South 170 just delays at the U Club Tower. And on the Illinois side, westbound 64 still pretty congested from 25th Street across the Poplar. Eastbound 64 3rd Street on to 5570 through Exchanges backed up, and then 5570 has delays approaching 111 about midway to 255. Next update at 8:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
KMOX AccuWeather, hazy sunshine and very warm today, but it will turn less humid. The high 88, mainly clear tonight, though 67. Sunshine mixing with clouds tomorrow, high 87. For Friday, becoming mostly cloudy, breezy, and more humid. Look for a couple of showers and a thunderstorm, especially in the afternoon. Friday's high 84. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It's noticeably cooler today than it was yesterday. 72 degrees in Florissant, 73 in St. Peters, and sunshine 71 downtown at the Arch. You're listening to Total Information AM here on 104.1 FM KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch. Scouts have been earning 2 new badges that may seem like a little bit of a departure from the wilderness skills that you might traditionally associate with scouting. But they do reflect the wild new world that our kids are living in. Joining me now on the Quiver River Electric Guest Line is Tom Croning, Director of Program Development at the Greater St. Louis Area Council of Scouting. Thank you so much for joining me this morning, Tom. There, I think we've got you now. Good morning, Tom.
Oh, hey, good morning. How are you?
Doing well. Thanks for joining us. I guess last year, Scouting America added these new AI and cybersecurity badges. Why?
Well, I would want to tell you, I think because we like to be trendy. We like to stay ahead of the curve. We are definitely famous for our outdoor programs, but obviously we are very well broad in a variety of subjects that help in life skills for our scouts. And so you can't miss, hearing in the news about where AI is going, and certainly cybersecurity. And so, again, when we have these young people, and primarily at the merit badge level for those youth, boys and girls, 11 to 17 years of age, we really want to broaden their horizons and a variety of different things and interests they may have, and also things they may not, and that, again, are certainly relevant to learn about. So that's where we're through our national organization. Through their help, we got these new badges. We're totally stoked about having them locally with our Greater St. Louis Area Scouting Council. We've been doing STEM programs for over 15 years. So to add this in the mix couldn't be a better time for us to just expand some new things and create some new partnerships.
It's interesting because, we think of scouting, we think you get that real hands-on of tying knots, learning how to start fires, learning how to cook in the woods. So what kind of hands-on experiences are scouts getting when it comes to artificial intelligence and cybersecurity?
Absolutely. So like a lot of our badges, they are really based to be that hands-on experience and working with mentors, and the more so that we can get them into those possibly environments where those things are happening. And so like with the AI merit badge, they're definitely doing the hands-on activities. They're learning key terms, how to learn about AI and automation and how those are used in daily life, school, work, even examining ethical concerns like bias and privacy. Some of the cool things I think they also work on will be like investigating deep fakes, practice communicating effectively with AI, and apply that knowledge through either a project or a teaching activity. And again, to us, it's so huge that these young people get to work with those professionals to possibly even learn how to get further along into those careers and what it takes to do those things. And cybersecurity is pretty similar, but they'll learn about online safety, ethical behavior, cyber threats, how to defend against those by using firewalls, antivirus software, strong passwords. I think they'll also learn about encryption and then connected devices and even risk with public Wi-Fi. I think a lot of us would like to know that. And also practicing safe habits like updating software and backing up data. And so with those kind of hands-on activities, and again, just that chance to work with professionals, that's what's huge about this. I would tell you we are so excited because these just got started last September, October. We're working with organizations like RGA, Maryville University, Scott Air Force Base that are big in these areas. And so it's going to be really fun to bring our scouts to those locations. We have started some of our other university programs as well. But we're really anxious just to keep this going. And again, with just the fantastic STEM efforts we have already.
I'm speaking with Tom Croning. He's Director of Program Development at the Greater St. Louis Area Council on Scouting. When you teach a young person, Tom, about anything from camping to AI, does that take some of the fear out of it for them?
Oh, absolutely. I think it's like anything that you might have curiosities about, and whether you had that interest or not, but it's kind of been, for us, certainly in the STEM areas. And I wasn't necessarily a STEM Scout. I'm an Eagle Scout. I would have loved this stuff 45 years ago, just to, we were very, into camping then, and that there was a pretty robust merit badge program, but that we're up to 141. That I think it's just been fantastic that when our young people get those books and they can read through what the variety is there, I think that it really stirs up more of that curiosity and wanted to experiment and learn more. So when we in scouting can open those doors and have those resources, it certainly takes away any kind of, fear that they might have of learning about it, or just, take a stab at it and really dive in deep. And again, when we have these classes and various workshops, and whether indoors or outdoors, that's what scouting's about. That's why I think young people love to join our program and really check it out. And that's what we strive to do, and certainly what I lead with my programs, and getting some great volunteers to really help us make that work.
What have leaders learned from the scouts themselves about AI and, cybersecurity? Because I'm sure some of these kids know quite a bit about it already.
That's a great point, too. For our adult volunteers, I think they learn as they go as well. And some of the topics that we take on in scouting that I always say this, yeah, sure, it's fun for the scouts. It also can be as fun for the adult leaders and also what they get and learn from being a part of our program. So we obviously, through our various safety programs, have these things available. So, yeah, our leaders are getting quite an education just by being a part of our program as well. And we want them to have that knowledge, to have a safe program in scouting. And so, yeah, it's very beneficial that the adults come along for that educational ride as well and take that all in.
Tom, you mentioned you were an Eagle Scout. How have Scouts revamped programs in recent years?
I'm envious of what kids get to do compared to what I did a long time ago. And yeah, there's just definitely more things to do. Obviously, there's still a lot of the outdoor emphasis. We're so blessed in our council to have 6 council properties. And we just had quite the robust summer camp season, if you can imagine. And now we're getting ready for a new program year. So there's just a lot of I think even more opportunities, especially as I mentioned that we've added in STEM the last 15 years. So whether you're an outdoorsy kid or a young person who's looking for just different avenues in education and things, you'll find that in scouting. And that's the thing. We want to cater to any young person and their interests. So that's what I really love where scouting is going in this day and age, to really work on that. And like you brought up, why are we doing these new merit badges? Because we want to be relevant. We want to be trendy. We want to be as best we can ahead of the curve on education, support what's going on through K through 12 education or school districts, and keep that going for our young people. So I think it's what folks expect. But if you're looking for a little bit of high adventure, jumping through the trees or rock climbing or scuba diving and those kind of things, we still got that fun stuff too. But also just when it comes to career investigation, that is there as well. So I just love how broad it is. And if you're looking for, some fun adventures, check out scouting because we're going to have it there for you.
Tom, thank you so much. Appreciate your time.
Megan, thank you. Take care.
That is Tom Croning joining us from Scouting this morning on KMOX. Well, your biggest challenge today may just be getting through traffic. Let's see if we can help you with that. Roger Brand joins us now from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we still got our incident, Megan, on eastbound 44, east of 141. This traffic reports a service by i3 Broadband. I guess it was a stalled trash truck. They still have the right lane blocked. The big rig tow truck is on the scene, but there's traffic delays coming through 141 on eastbound 44, and that's right where folks on 141 merge onto eastbound 44. So you've got to slow down. Northbound at Centurion and southbound is heavy advance, and it jams from about Elam down onto that eastbound 44 flyover ramp. If you're on northbound 270, it looks good through Gravois, but there's still heavy pockets south of Big Bend all the way up through Manchester. Eastbound 64, a little slow at Clarkson. It's heavy from McKnight to Big Bend. Westbound 64, McCausland out through Hanley's kind of busy. South 170, south of Brentwood, the slow part coming down to 64. And then on the Illinois side, we have delays westbound 64 in pockets from Baugh Avenue across the Poplar. Eastbound 64, 3rd Street onto 5570 through Exchange is a little heavy, and then 5570 east of 203 past 111. You've got some pretty slow traffic. Summer celebrations are here, and i3 Broadband keeps you connected. Head over to i3broadband.com/radio today or call 1-866-806-5485 to upgrade today. Because life runs better on fiber, and i3 Broadband is here for you. Next update at 8:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It's going to be warm today, but less humid and a lot of hazy sunshine, a high of 88 degrees. Clear tonight with a low of 67, and sunshine mixing with clouds tomorrow, a high of 87. We have sunny skies, 71 degrees now downtown at the Arch.
Breaking news. Missouri will vote on Amendment 4 this August. Right now, a ballot measure passes in Missouri if it gets a majority of votes statewide. Amendment 4 would permanently end that. If Amendment 4 passes, it would rewrite the Missouri Constitution. So instead of using the total statewide vote to decide if something is approved, a measure would need to win a majority of votes separately in each of Missouri's 8 congressional districts in order to pass. So one district could veto the will of most Missourians. That means with Amendment 4, just 5% of voters could overrule what the majority of Missouri citizens want. Opponents of Amendment 4 say it undermines the sacred principle of one person, one vote, and takes away the people's power, giving it to politicians and special interests instead. Protect Majority Rule. Vote no on Amendment 4. Paid for by Protect Majority Rule Missouri. Mike Pridmore, Treasurer.
This year, America celebrates 250 years. 2.5 centuries of courage, sacrifice, and family stories passed down from one generation to the next. Hi, I'm Nick Mako.
And I'm Adam Baselogger, founders of Legacy Box. Your family's piece of the American story is sitting in an attic or closet right now. trapped on aging VHS tapes, camcorder tapes, film reels, and fading photos.
Those boxes hold moments you can never recreate. Your wedding day, your children's voices when they were little, grandparents coming back to life on screen.
Over 2 million families have trusted Legacy Box. And we've just partnered with the USO to digitize fragile handwritten letters from World War II, helping preserve American history for future generations.
As America turns 250, remember that your family is a part of the American story. Preserving those voices, faces, and moments is a part of your responsibility to the next generation. Don't let them disappear on your watch.
Visit legacybox.com/radio for our amazing America 250 sale. That's legacybox.com/radio to save.
Hair Volume from New Nordic will make your hair look thick and healthy. Available as a tablet or delicious gummy. Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and newnordicusa.com or in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
8:23 in the news this morning. Dr. Anthony Fauci has invoked the Fifth Amendment this morning and declined to answer questions from senators in a Republican-led committee hearing about his handling of the COVID-19 pandemic. We'll continue to follow this and listen for the latest updates from ABC News. As you heard on Total Information AM, the American Red Cross has declared a national blood crisis. I learned more from Ann Vassmans, Regional Communications Manager for the American Red Cross.
Yeah, we've done this now for only the second time in our history, declaring a national blood crisis, and so we don't take that lightly. What's happening is that the number of donations that are coming in are just not keeping up with the need for blood that we are seeing in the hospitals.
Are there any unique challenges this year compared to last that's leading to this?
Yeah, we see a drop in donations around this time every year because, it's summertime. People are traveling, they're enjoying their outdoor activities. But this year, there's some additional challenges because we've had extreme heat, right, over the weekend. It was so hot, and people are being urged to stay inside. We have wildfires in Colorado and Canada that are, affecting the air quality. And then we also have just a lot of people that are sick and, that prevents them from coming out and donating. So those three things combined with, the normal drop in donations that we're seeing is leading us to have this crisis.
What happens when donations don't keep pace with hospital demand? And I ask that as to, what decisions have to be made based on that?
Yeah, so when there's no blood available for hospitals, that has kind of a domino effect where doctors are going to have to make those decisions on, putting elective surgeries on hold or putting treatments on hold until they can make sure that they have enough blood on the shelves to help those patients in need.
Any types that are especially low or that you would like to see donors for?
Yeah, we obviously always need type O. It's our universal donor. It is what is used in trauma when there's no time to type the patient to see what specific blood type they need. And so type O is definitely needed, as well as A and B negative, and platelets. We do also really, really need platelets.
Who can donate and where can people go to find information on that?
Yeah, anybody can donate. So right now, if we had just 3 extra people show up at blood drives, we can help to end this crisis. So that's 3 extra people. So, grab your mother, grab your brother, your cousin, your best friend, and go and donate together. Make it a family affair. You can find where to donate on redcrossblood.org, or you can use our blood donor app. You put in your zip code and it'll pull up all the blood drives that we have closest to you, so you can pick whichever one's convenient for you.
How old do you have to be to donate?
Here in the state of Missouri, you have to be 17 years or older.
Again, that is Ann Vassmans with the Red Cross, redcrossblood.org. Still ahead on Total Information AM, the University of Missouri system gets a massive grant to help rebuild America's domestic critical mineral supply chain. We'll tell you more about that coming up next. It's now 8:27. This time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Liberty Mutual customizes your car and home insurance. And now we're customizing this ad for your morning commute to wake you up, which could help your driving. Science says that stimulating the brain increases alertness. So here's a pop quiz. How many months have 28 days? What gets wetter as it dries? What has keys but can't open locks? If you don't want to hear the answers, turn off this Liberty Mutual ad now. 12 months, a towel, piano. Enjoy being fully alert.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
For the last 33 years, you've discovered that at Banner Construction, we pride ourselves on quality craftsmanship. We believe the single most important decision homeowners must make when considering an exterior restoration project is, who do you hire? At Banner, we provide well-engineered, meaningful, long-term solutions to transform your home into the pride of the neighborhood. Let us help you fall in love with your home all over again. Call 314-569-1050 or visit bannerconstruction.com and have a banner day.
Hey, it's Brew, and I feel like everything in my life depends on being connected. Whether I'm uploading a video, hopping on a call before my show, or video chatting with my family back in Michigan, I never have to think about my Wi-Fi. And that's why Xfinity stands out. You get the most reliable, fiber-powered Wi-Fi with the best equipment at one price for 5 years guaranteed. No contracts or commitments. Plus, you can get online in minutes with same-day Wi-Fi. Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas. Use of fiber or coaxial cable. Learn more at xfinity.com/same-day Wi-Fi. Xfinity. Imagine that.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight illnesses like pneumococcal pneumonia and RSV. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and can help protect you from getting really sick. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. See more at PfizerForAll.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/term. That's ethos.com/term. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Are you tired of high cable TV rates? Sign up for Dish today and get a $500 bonus offer while supplies last. Plus, lock in your price for 2 years guaranteed. Call All American Dish, your Dish authorized retailer now.
800-296-1251. 800-296-1251. That's 800-296-1251. Offers require credit qualification, 24-month commitment, early termination fee, and e-auto pay. Restrictions apply. Call for details.
8:30, time for an update on the roads with Roger Brand and the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we still got our incident out there, Megan, on eastbound 44 east of 141. This traffic reports the service of Huff Heating and Air Conditioning. It's the right lane blocked by I guess it's a stalled trash truck, so it's making it a little difficult for folks coming north and south on 141 to merge onto eastbound 44. Southbound 141 backed up into Valley Park. Northbound north of Centurion is the heavy stuff. Primarily the right lanes, obviously, coming through those stretches. Northbound 270 approaching Doherty Ferry up to Manchester, still slow. Eastbound 64 east of Lindbergh to Big Bend's heavy. Westbound 64 McCausland Bellevue just a little busy, then it sorts itself out downtown. Westbound 64 Baugh Avenue to the 70 split, and then 3rd Street across the Poplars heavy, and eastbound 5570 approaching 111 delays most of the way to Black Lane. Next update at 8:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
For dependable, no-pressure home comfort solutions, turn to Huff Heating and Air Conditioning. Locally owned and family operated for over 40 years. Our team will work with you on a plan that fits your home's needs with financing available. And as always, your family's comfort is our family's business. Learn more at huffheating.com.
From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, hazy sunshine today, warm but less humid, a high of 88. Clear tonight with a low of 67. And then tomorrow, sun mixing with clouds, a high of 87. We have sunny skies now, 71 degrees downtown at the Arch. The University of Missouri campuses and 240 partners have gotten a federal grant of $160 million to create a Midwest hub for mining, research, logistics, and shipping rare minerals needed now for high tech. Missouri Net's Ashley Bird drills down on what this all means for Missouri with UM President Moon Choi.
This would be a monumental project, not only for the University of Missouri system, but the state and the nation. What we are trying to overcome is a decades-long decline in critical minerals production for manufacturing that we've given up in the United States. And back in the 1980s, when the United States controlled about 30% of all manufacturing in the world, we also controlled about 30% of critical minerals production. Now it's down to the low teens. And as you know, China controls about 70% of all the mining capabilities for rare earths material, as well as over 60% in key materials like lithium, cobalt, and nickel, which are essential for modern electronic technologies. And so we want to place the United States back in the position of controlling our fair share of critical minerals so that we can rejuvenate manufacturing. There's a big push ever since the Biden administration of reshoring advanced manufacturing back to the United States. And in order for us to do that, we need a supply chain that we control in critical minerals. Without that, we would have to rely on countries like China, and there is a strategic interest for China and other adversarial countries to limit the release of critical minerals for critical manufacturing base that we have in the United States.
This involves all campuses, right? I know about the Rock Lab at Rolla. Is that
That's
part
right.
of it?
All 4 universities are participating in this. For example, at Rolla, we have one of the best geological engineering, mining engineering, and petroleum engineering, as well as explosives engineering. That's a requirement for active mining. And so they're going to bring their incredible resources to bear. Obviously, at Mizzou, we have advanced technologies on using environmentally friendly solvents to be able to separate out critical minerals and other materials. At UMSL has become a national leader in logistics, supply chain, through their business school. And at UMKC, that's where we have the technical leads on semiconductor technology.
That is University of Missouri President Moon Choi speaking with Missouri Net's Ashley Bird. Your Money Report next.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. But at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited everything for just $35 a line. That's $35 a month for unlimited talk, text, and data. Switch to the carrier ranked #1 in network coverage and customer satisfaction and get unlimited everything for just $35 a month. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit Consumer Cellular online or in-store today. Price includes $5 credit for autopay and e-billing. Taxes and fees apply. Data speeds reduced after 35 gigabytes. Rankings done by 2025 ACSI survey.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Your Money Report is sponsored by Eamon Gatner and Capriano Elder Law Attorneys. Here's Bloomberg's Courtney Donahoe.
Job cuts are on the way at BMW. The automaker is planning to lay off 8,000 workers globally. BMW is slashing expenses in response to challenges including slumping sales in China, U.S. tariffs, and high production costs in Europe. Sources tell us the job cuts account for about 5% of BMW's total workforce. The Federal Reserve is also in focus today. Interest rates are expected to remain unchanged, though markets see a growing chance of a surprise hike. And vacation home mortgages ticked up for the first time since a pandemic boom. According to Redfin, loans for second homes rose 4% year over year in 2025, the first annual increase in 4 years. Wealthy buyers are driving the market. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
Tom Ackerman here. You know, here's the thing about estate planning, and I hear this a lot, is, yeah, I have an estate plan. I think I do. Or we did that years ago, but we've been meaning to look at it again. And honestly, that is the problem. Estate plans should not be one and done. Most plans don't fail because people don't care. They fail because life changes and the plan doesn't keep up. At Lederman Law Firm, it isn't just paperwork. It is an ongoing process. They build your estate plan to protect your family and your property, and then for a fixed annual fee, they actually help maintain it so it stays aligned with the changes in your life, your assets, and the law. That is a big reason why we have stayed with Lederman Law Firm all these years. If you're in the St. Louis metro area, including Illinois, and you want an estate plan that actually works, call the Lederman Law Firm at ledermanlaw.com or 314-514-9100. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
Registered lobbyist Mike Deering is not the kind of guy you want in the state Senate.
Did you say he was a registered lobbyist?
Sure did. When conservatives like Tricia Burns tried to pass a bill to take back the 300,000 acres in Missouri allowed to be controlled by China, lobbyist Mike Deering testified against it. When conservatives like Tricia Burns fought alongside Missouri cattlemen to require foreign beef to be labeled, lobbyist Mike Deering testified against that too. While conservatives like Tricia Burns are fighting to protect your farmland from being paved over by data centers, lobbyist Mike Deering described Google's Montgomery County hyperscale data center as a
very positive thing.
Deering also endorsed Liberal Democrat Chris Koster for governor and openly mocked President Trump. Registered lobbyist Mike Deering, anti-Trump, pro-Democrat, bought out by foreign ag interest, and in love with data centers. Take down Data Center Deering on August 4th. Vote America First conservative warrior Tricia Burns for state senate.
Paid for by Mo Constitutional Conservative Council PAC, Scott Lady Treasurer.
If you need a new garage door, this could be your lucky day. The $5,000 sweepstakes is back with Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. A winner will be chosen at random to receive $5,000 towards new garage doors, openers, or front entry doors of their choice. Deadline to enter is the end of the month to win the $5,000 sweepstakes with Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Enter now at overheaddoorstlouis.com. Since 1926, celebrating 100 years. The genuine, the original overhead door. That's where winners go.
I'm Bill Eigel. I'm a no on data centers. Last year, when a new hyperscale data center was up for a vote in St. Charles City, I'm the only candidate for county executive who stood with you in opposition. Meanwhile, Steve Ellman was writing op-eds in support of data centers. In fact, he spent $400,000 of your taxpayer money to identify 6 locations just for data centers in St. Charles County. I'm Bill Eigel, and if you don't want data centers in our county, then I'm asking for your vote on August 4th.
Paid for by Eigel from Missouri. Lisa Borchers, treasurer.
8:40. Let's check the roads now with Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Megan, we still have our incident on eastbound 44. This traffic reports the service of Steve Butts and the entire Crawford Butts family. Is still have that stalled trash truck in the right lane, eastbound 44, east of 141. Delays at 141, and it's delaying 141 traffic getting on to eastbound 44. Northbound 141 north of Carmen, we have a minor incident, a little bit of a delay there. Eastbound 64 is still heavy. Lindbergh in through Big Bend. Westbound 64 west of Hampton through McCausland, slow, and then the right lane's Big Bend out to Hanley. Look a little busy. Downtown, westbound 64 west of 3rd Street to the Poplars, slow. Eastbound 5570, you have a slowdown at 203 and then 111 to Black Lane. And it looks like we have an incident on westbound 270 between the Canal and Chain Rocks bridges, and we've got a short jam up there. As America celebrates its 250th anniversary, Steve Butts and everyone at Crawford Butts Insurance wish everyone a safe and joyful summer, proudly serving the community for generations. Happy 250th, America. I'm Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Thank you, Roger. And checking that forecast for today, much nicer than it's been. Less humid, hazy sunshine. It will be warm. We'll have a high of 88. Clear skies tonight with an overnight low of 67. We have sunny skies, 71 degrees now downtown at the Arch. Thanks for listening. Information AM here on KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch. Every Wednesday, we talk to KMOX legal analyst Brad Young, partner at Harris, Young, and Kaiser. This morning, we're going to talk about Johnson & Johnson paying billions of dollars to settle baby powder lawsuits. Good morning, Brad.
Good morning, Megan.
So why would Johnson & Johnson pay out $5.5 billion after saying and insisting, really, that its talc is safe and didn't cause ovarian cancer?
Well, there's a saying in litigation, Megan, that if nobody's happy with the settlement, it's probably a good one. And this case demonstrates that, because in this particular instance, a federal judge has already held that the plaintiffs, to some extent, have not proven their case that talcum powder could actually cause ovarian cancer. Not that it could cause, but that it did cause. And that's the standard of proof that the plaintiffs have to have. On the flip side, Johnson & Johnson is fighting a two-front war. Number one, they're fighting with having to hire attorneys for all these cases, having to pay out maybe in some situations for settlements, but also they're fighting a PR battle, because every time this is in the news, it tells consumers that their products are potentially dangerous. So in order to resolve all those issues from both the plaintiff and the defense side, Johnson & Johnson is offering up to $5.5 billion paid out over several years to resolve all these claims. But it depends upon them getting about 95% of the affected plaintiffs to sign off on this agreement.
So there are tens of thousands of claims, and Johnson & Johnson has reformulated the product. What's a settlement like this really mean for all the people who have filed lawsuits?
Well, a settlement would mean that, for example, if an individual woman in Idaho had ovarian cancer, she is probably thinking that her case is worth more than what this settlement would provide. Because even though $5.5 billion sounds like a lot of money, and it certainly is, when you divide that by tens of thousands of people, that number goes lower. And then when you take out the attorney's fees, that money goes lower even still. So from the plaintiff's side, they're probably going to be thinking that they deserve more money because they believe that their condition was caused by the product. From the side of Johnson & Johnson, their view is it's best from their perspective to shut down all this litigation from both a cost containment and from a PR perspective.
All right, we'll continue to follow that. Let's get an update now on a tech giant trial going in Nashville. Attorneys for the state of Tennessee telling jurors that Meta disregarded its own research on harm to teens. Will this case be hard to prove?
Well, there is a high standard. This is a civil case, not a criminal case, but the prosecutors in Tennessee do have some major hurdles to overcome in terms of evidence, Megan. But as you suggested, when this trial got started this week, prosecutors introduced actual internal memos from Meta, from Instagram, where it showed that the engineers were aware that their algorithms intentionally fostered addictive behaviors in teens. And it even went so far as explaining how that happened by exploiting the dopamine-driven brain mechanics. And it basically said, there's a quote here in the memo that says that their features are, quote, at odds with the well-being, unquote, of users. So there is evidence that Meta knew that. However, the state has the burden here. The prosecutors have to prove that they violated the Unfair or Deceptive Practices Act under Tennessee law. Then, if they can prove that, the question becomes, what are the damages? And under Tennessee law, under this statute, the judge would determine, not a jury, but the judge would determine the damages. So there's really no, at this point, estimate as to what that could be. It could be little, it could be a lot, or somewhere in between.
So if there is a judgment in the state's favor and against Meta, what could it really mean for consumers and maybe even other tech companies that operate social media platforms?
Well, like so many of these lawsuits, Megan, what we generally see is that one lawsuit starts and establishes whether this can go forward or not, and then literally every state could then jump on board. So this is a bellwether test for Meta, because if they lose this in Tennessee, they are relatively assured that most states, if not just many states, would pursue similar types of litigation, and they could be literally playing litigation whack-a-mole all across the country when it comes to these types of lawsuits.
Let's get to one more case quickly. The man convicted of fatally stabbing 4 University of Idaho students wants to take back his guilty plea, saying he was convinced to falsely confess. How is this possible?
Well, everyone follow this Brian Kohberger case, and he did plead guilty last year. And as you say, now he's trying to withdraw that guilty plea. This is actually something that's fairly common and alleging ineffective counsel. But listen, if you watch that, the judge ask him, it's called the colloquy, ask him lots of questions about whether he actually did it. And Brian Kohberger answered that he did. This is going to be next to impossible for him to walk back his guilty plea.
All right. I'm sure we'll continue to follow this with you as well. Brad, thank you so much.
My pleasure.
We talk with Brad every week here on Total Information AM on Wednesday morning, so make sure you tune in next week for more with our KMOX legal analyst. It's now 8:48.
There's a saying, it takes a group of good men to build a barn and only one to tear it down. Well, a few Jeff City politicians are at it again, tearing things down with Amendment 5 and Amendment 4. No on 5 and 4. 5 takes our money with higher sales taxes, higher taxes on gas, guns, and groceries, a sales tax hike on rent and diesel, seed and feed. 4 takes away our constitutional right to vote and go around the establishment politicians and to stop higher taxes. Takes away our safety valve, a vote of the people to stop or reverse a dumb idea like the everything tax. I'm a no. A heck no. No. No on Amendment 5. No on Amendment 4. No on both 4 and 5. Paid for by no on the everything tax.
Bill, you're an old politician.
Yup, sure am.
So you know the old timers warned that someone trying to sell you a pig and poke was a con man.
Well, sure.
Well, no offense, Tom, but your politician's Amendment 5 is a pig and a poke, allowing politicians to raise our taxes without a vote of the people. And the politician's Amendment 4 takes away our power to do anything about it. Well, let's look at what's really inside 4 and 5.
Oh, don't do that.
5 hits hardest seniors and those struggling financially with new taxes on services like doctor visits, in-home care, and rent. Sales taxes could more than triple. For up to 80% of Missourians, it's a tax hike. And Amendment 4 ends majority rule, effectively ending our power to stop corrupt and out-of-control politicians.
Slick plan, huh?
No, Tom. 4 and 5 are schemes that hurt citizens and transfer our power and our money to politicians and lobbyists. That's why I'm voting no on the politicians' Amendments 4 and 5. Paid for by Missourians for Fair Government.
The 3-2 pitch with the runner going a swing.
Ready to elevate your game? Join the MBA Sportscasters Forum on Tuesday, September 15th in St. Louis. Learn Cardinals beat reporters, broadcasters, and Hall of Famer John Rooney as they break down play-by-play, reporting, interviewing, and covering the game. Then cap off the day with the Cardinals versus Giants at Busch Stadium. Step into the booth, sharpen your skills. Go to KMOX.com/events for details and registration. Broadcasting from the Scott Credit Union Studio, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
We are reaching that time of year when we have to start thinking about how to get back into school routines for our children. I had a great conversation about how to create a realistic routine reset with Dr. Erica Rutledge, licensed clinical psychologist, mental health consultant, and founder of Wellness in Actions.
I feel like I'm already trying to do this with my kids, and it's painful.
Yeah, I feel like I'm like August. I'm just gonna wait till August, and then we'll start.
Right.
Yeah.
So it seemed to me that sleep can sometimes be the biggest part of resetting your back to school routines. How do we start to get our families back on track if those sleep routines have been disrupted?
Yeah, I would say definitely starting small. So trying not to starting small and starting early. I guess saying two things. So trying not to wait till the day before school starts to kind of jumpstart this new sleep routine, because that is likely not going to work as well as if you started gradually, maybe at the beginning of the month, and seeing like, okay, what time are we going to bed? Can we reduce this 15-minute increment and getting closer to that time? And I think also knowing about what time they're going to need to get up for school and starting to kind of regularly schedule, like, all right, so if you've got to be up and at school around 9, then we're going to make sure that we're starting to make sure we're awake by 8, right? Like, and so slowly kind of building that skill up over time and through small increments. And I think also working, depending on the age of your child, with them and being like, okay, gosh, let's get our back to school plan ready so we can make sure when we go back to school, we can have just the most energy we need so we can do our best work, and getting their ideas and seeing like, okay, what can help us get this plan going.
Let's talk morning routines. And I can almost like see people in the audience tense up when you start to talk about how to get through the morning with kids and get them out the door those first few days. What helps as far as planning those routines and sticking with it?
I would say first, maybe thinking about successes from last year or times where you weren't as successful as you wanted to be last year, and knowing, okay, what do we need to tweak? So maybe the first days of school, breakfast is going to be a quick to go type of meal, and not something where we're spending a lot of time in. What can we do beforehand? Knowing that this is a new routine, this is a new transition. So are there any things we can kind of put off of the morning to-do list and put kind of in the evening beforehand, like book bags ready, clothes out, shoes by the door. So just less things that we need to do. I think also just giving yourself and your child grace, knowing that this is a really new transition. And, you know, if you don't make it to school on time the first day, it is not the end of the world. It's an opportunity to get better for the second day. And so just knowing we're going to try our best today, we're going to see where our opportunities for improvement are in our kind of morning routine and schedule, and then kind of get better. Luckily, we've got a lot more days of school to practice and get better with. So don't get so caught up in that routine. I think also I noticed that, gosh, as a caregiver, getting my kids ready, like I need to check myself before I can try to check my kids. So trying to, again, be that calm presence. If you are able to flex your time so you don't have to be rushing to work right after getting them to work for the first day or two, that may be something that you could try so that you're giving yourself a little bit more capacity to kind of help them and not have to go through all of typical routines, because you need maybe a little more bandwidth to get your kids together.
What about screen time routines? I hear different things from parents. Some of them say, you know, oh gosh, my kid has had more screen time because they've had more free time. And some families say, my kids haven't had as much because, you know, they aren't at school on the iPad or the Chromebook. So how do you balance that and get the kids used to what they're going to be dealing with for the school year?
Yeah. And I think, again, different kids respond differently to screen time. Some kids kind of just like, okay, I'm on here a little bit. Now I'm ready to do other things. I think the biggest recommendation I have is making sure that screen time is not the only outlet for interest or social supports or connections. And are there other opportunities they can get involved with, clubs, activities, extracurriculars, that can also meet that connection need that a lot of youth and adolescents have? And so that only connection isn't tied to a screen. And as we just came and talked about sleep, I think screen time is also a really important thing. Generally recommend that people turn down screens an hour before bedtime. And because knowing that light from screens, that can activate our brains, making it harder to fall asleep. And also, right, like as a caregiver, how hard is that for you to put down your phone an hour beforehand? Can you walk the walk with them and be like, all right, this is a family effort. Everybody's phone is in here this hour before bedtime. And seeing what you notice too. So maybe that could be another strategy to help with managing screen time. I think the youth today are super cognizant and aware of screens and want strategies not only for themselves, but like for their culture too, to be able to connect. And so asking them, what do you feel like your goals are related to screen time? Do you feel like you want to have these kind of times of the day where you're not connected? And it can be hard too, because a lot of the homework they have to do can be related to things they have to get online for. And so how can you kind of set that boundary for yourself and them?
That's Dr. Erica Rutledge, licensed clinical psychologist and founder of Wellness in Actions. Over the coming weeks, she's going to help us with a lot of back-to-school topics, from little kids all the way up to college kids. Next week, we're going to look at how not to increase your kids' anxiety about going back to school.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Health Trends, sponsored by LensSeek.
Is your vacation leaving you more stressed than relaxed? Experts at the Cleveland Clinic say the secret to a peaceful getaway is to pace, don't race. Ditch the overstuffed itinerary and leave wide open gaps in your day for spontaneous fun. Stick to your sleep routine, stay hydrated, and lower your expectations. Expecting a perfect trip only breeds anxiety. Most importantly, put the phone camera away and just enjoy the moment. I'm Margie Schaefer.
At LensSeek, we know running a business takes heart, hustle, and sometimes a little help. That's why we stand with you with our exclusive AI lending platform, connecting you to over 100 funders. If you've been in business for at least